Let's get peppy. Welcome to PEP 271. That's Playing Extra Podcast. I'm Chad Jadot, host of Planet America on ABC Australia, and this is an official podcast of the ABC. So say hi to the Ombudsman for me. On PEP, we cover all the stuff that's too nerdy for TV. If you're listening, you can find us on YouTube and Facebook at Planet PEP, and you can find highlights there as well. You also find timestamps and show notes in our blurbs, and if you leave a comment under our current episode video, we're likely to see it. Do not forget to subscribe for all that peppy goodness. It does all help. You can also tweet us or blue skies at PEPCHASDRDAVE. That's at PepChaz, Dr. Dave. If you want to chat to some fellow peppers, you can join our Discord server. It's on the screen right now or in the blurb of the podcast, and I'm often there at 4 a.m. if you want to say hi. If you want to contact me or Lockie the Lucky privately, why not email us? That address is producer@pepthepodcast.com. That address again is producer@pepthepodcast.com. And we're recording this at 2:19 p.m. on Friday the 21st of August, or 12:19 a.m. on Friday morning East Coast times. But for now, let's turn to the man who simply will not raise the stakes on inconsequential views. I speak, of course, about Dr. Pepper himself, Dr. David Smith.
Hi, everyone. I'm David Smith. I'm an associate professor at the United States Studies Centre at the University of Sydney. But I do not speak on behalf of either of those institutions. Also, to clarify, I'm not a part of Planet America, the TV show, but God damn it, after that Hassan Piker interview, I wish I was. What a gem. Just a reminder, I'm not a spokesperson for any of the institutions I work for.
Did you actually watch it?
No, but...
Thought not.
But the reaction it got told me everything that I needed to know.
Well, we just didn't stitch him up.
Yeah.
And so his supporters,
that's right.
His supporters are amazed. They're going, hang on, this is an interview where someone spoke to Hassan Piker and actually asked him questions and didn't try to...
Yeah, you gave him a fair hearing, and it got the usual nobodies dribbling into the void about it. Great job.
Certainly, yeah. We did get our share of reaction. Look, I'll talk about that a little bit more during the Unleashed, because I guess we're going to do correspondence. Mm-hmm. And we got a correspondence or two about that. But look, I'm glad that you liked it in theory.
Yes.
In terms of housework, we've got today, obviously. Then we have Melina in the middle of next week. And then we've got 10 days off because I'm getting my knee operated on.
Yes.
And you're going somewhere.
I am.
Yep. And so then we'll be together again 2 weeks from today, I think. Yes, that's right.
Should be.
Yes, that's right. Okay. I'm kind of crouched up. For those watching who are wondering why I've got this weird posture, I've got a very, very small laptop table, which I'm not quite dealing with at the moment. But we're just trying things, and we'll just, I'll get used to it. Maybe.
Chaz is famous for his conformity to ergonomic good practice and care of the back in all circumstances.
Let's pretend that's what I'm famous for.
Yes.
What I'm actually famous for is being slightly strange and slightly spectrumy, which means when you make changes of things which I'm comfortable with, I sometimes behave in strange ways. As the barber knows, this is an odd bit of information for our listeners. I need to have showers directly after haircuts.
Really?
Yeah. I just freak out. Like I can feel every single hair on my neck.
Really?
Every single one. And so, yeah. And so when, at one point in time, on Planet America, they gave me a haircut. Like I was asleep in the chair because I hadn't slept. And I woke up and I knew that the makeup artist had trimmed my hair just slightly.
Wow.
Because I could feel the hairs. And I absolutely flipped out, and I needed to have a shower straight away, and we were filming, and that was a bad day. But anyway, let's see how I did.
Okay, so for all the peppers out there who thought you knew everything about Chaz, you didn't.
Every now and then, I'll just leak out just one more bit of oddness.
Yeah.
But Dave, what are you grateful for?
I am grateful for brush turkeys.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I got chased by a brush turkey. I wasn't, like 2 days ago, I wasn't grateful for that, but why are you grateful?
Well, so there are a lot around the area where Chaz and I live.
There are.
And for those of you who don't live on the east coast of Australia, these birds, they're not actually turkeys. They're not related to the turkey family. They're a family of birds called megapodes.
I've never even heard of this.
Yeah, megapodes. So they've got very big claws.
Yes.
That's because they don't have an egg tooth, as many birds do. To get out of their egg, they have to get out with their claws. They have to fight their way out. Yes.
That's the guy who chased me.
That is the brush tooth. To me, it looks like a little cassowary.
Very little, yeah.
Yeah. The brush turkey is famously defensive of its nests. This is probably why you were chased. We are in nesting season. You know how I know that?
How?
Because I saw this brush turkey emerging from this enormous mound that it had built on a pedestrian footpath quite near where both of us live.
I must have walked past the mound.
Or maybe over it.
Maybe.
The funny thing is, though, they're so protective of their mounds, but apparently as soon as the chick is born, as soon as the chick has fought its way out of its egg, it's like, yeah, you're on your own now.
So why are you grateful for them?
Well, the thing is, they're such survivors,
Yeah.
right? Because they're basically abandoned as soon as they get out of the nest.
Yeah.
So any brush turkey that survives, this is why every brush turkey that you see looks like it's had a hard life.
It really does.
It looks like it's seen some stuff. And I know that, the ibis has become the sort of beloved grotty mascot of Sydney, but my vote is for the brush turkey because I think it's the closest thing that you could see to having just a little dinosaur waddling down the street.
They do seem
front of you.
related to ibises, I have to say.
Yeah.
They do seem a bit gross.
Yeah. But I think they're tougher than ibises. Like, there's one that lives on my street and it's constantly being harassed by these minor birds and it just does not care.
Can I clarify, by the way, when I say I was
Yes.
chased by a brush turkey, I wasn't like physically frightened of the brush turkey. But the brush turkey was after me and I was worried that I'd have to kick it or something. And I didn't want to do that.
If you kicked it, it probably wouldn't have had any effect, to be honest. Yeah.
Well, I didn't want to find out. Like, I don't like
No.
being cruel to animals. And so I just...
And
I
they
just
don't
wanted
like
to-
being cruel to you either. So
Wow,
it's good that
this
you
one wanted to be cruel to me. Let me
didn't
tell you.
find out. I have learnt from a student who lives on the North Shore where brush turkeys are particularly prevalent. If you've got a nest of brush turkeys in your backyard, do not let your family pet into the backyard because the family pet is going to come off worse. No matter how fierce a hunter it thinks it is, it's not going to come out well.
Oh, really?
Out of an encounter with brush turkeys.
Oh, because I've been trying to keep my whippets away from the brush turkey.
You should.
For the sake of the brush turkey.
Those legs, those claws, they are no joke.
Have you ever seen a whippet play with like a toy chicken?
No.
Let me tell you, straight for the neck.
Yeah?
Like shark style, shaking it around.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know they got claws. Anyway, my point is, don't chase me, brush turkey. I know you're a pepper. Don't chase me.
Yeah, that's because Dr. Dave said I could chase you.
Anyway, what I'm grateful for is this is going to be weird to people, but drone delivery. I'm so excited about drone delivery. I was just reading about how in America, Amazon is expanding from 11 cities to like 500 cities and towns. They're drone delivery. It's not just them.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of other companies as well that are doing it in America, which means it's not far away in Australia and other places. I cannot wait. For me, drone delivery is like what for a lot of people hoverboards are. This is what I've been waiting for like 20 years. It's going, where the hell is drone delivery? Because I don't drive. You don't drive either.
No.
Have you been waiting for drone delivery?
No.
Why not? I don't want to go out and walk 20 minutes to pick up anything. I want it to come to my house. So I can spend more time reading American politics on my computer. Anyway, and we're so close. And I'll tell you what else about drone delivery. The reason I'm so excited about it. Not only am I excited about just not moving my fat ass off my chair, but I'm also very, very excited about the fact that drone delivery can be 24/7. Like, you can, no more waiting 6 hours.
For those weak meat puppets.
On the off chance that they'll deliver whatever, like that, they'll deign to deliver your package on the day they say they can deliver it. In this case here, you'll be able to put in a time. You'll be able to put in like an hour time and go, do it 11 p.m. It'll be awesome. It'll be so good. I can't wait.
I just think if you order something,
yeah,
it's going to take it and drop it on a wedding instead.
No, what they'll do, I don't know. I'm probably wrong. But what I'm imagining is that you'll have like baskets and stuff, and they'll drop them in the basket, and they'll be awesome. And the little drone will tell you, I've just delivered it. And you go, oh yeah, thanks drone. Notice brush turkey, how useful the drone is? It's not chasing me. I'm on the drone side, not the brush turkey side. Anyway, I've been wanting to live in the future. That's living in the future. That's like a cool Jetsons future. That's not like an underwhelming social media style future. That's like an awesome future with technology, not with people being Nazis at each other. I much prefer the technology kind of future. So give it to me, Dave. Give it to me.
Okay. You are welcome to have all the delivery drones you want.
Oh, I will. But let's get into the first topic. First topic is yours, Dave. Like I said, there's going to be correspondence at the end of this ep. We try to put the biggest topic first. And this week, there isn't really a biggest topic, but there's certainly a topic which everyone's talking about.
Yes.
And it starts with ships and it ends with Harp.
Yes.
So let's start with ships.
Yes. So let's call this segment Naval Gazing.
Oh, that's good. That's your bid for the title, is
That's
it?
right.
Okay.
Yes. And I just want to start by saying the Navy is incredibly important to the projection of American power.
Yep.
The difference between being a big regional power and being a genuine global empire is the Navy. And this is kind of the mantle that the United States took over from Britain, whose dominance was also based on naval power. And given that one of the major aims of American military power throughout the 20th century was keeping trade free, essentially keeping shipping lanes open, deterring piracy and all kinds of other things, the Navy was a very important part of that. So the Navy's always been, or at least for the last 120 years or so, really central in many ways to American identity.
And would you say in the 21st century, it's because of trade still?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Well, the thing is, we are now seeing again, if we had ever forgotten, how, first of all, important free waterways are, and second, how easily they can be shut down.
Yeah.
I think it was very easy to forget that when nobody was shutting them down. But we could see now, if you want a global regime of free trade, the Navy is going to be very important. And despite all of the assaults that Trump has made on free trade, the US it's at least still structurally committed to trade.
Yeah.
Okay. So even though the really fun part of this story goes back to 2017, I actually want to start the story in 2022. 2022, the US Navy officially adopted a doctrine called Distributed Maritime Operations, or DMO. Even though this was adopted during the Biden administration, it reflected developments in thinking that had been taking place for a long time in the Navy. And if you look at statements from the Navy now, they are still committed to the idea of DMO. So what is this? This is the idea that because it's getting easier and easier to attack ships and to attack them quite cheaply in all kinds of ways, that what a contemporary Navy needs is a lot of firepower distributed across a lot of ships. And those ships being distributed across a lot of places, not concentrated in just a few very big ships, right? And this makes a lot of sense. Despite this, during the second Trump administration, we've had the revival of the idea of battleships. Okay, and I'm starting with this part of the story because Trump, for a US president, has been unusually kind of directly involved in the Navy. Okay. So this plan was announced in 2025 to build this new class of warships called Trump-class warships.
Yes.
Which that violates naming conventions for the US Navy. Most of the classes of ships are named after states. So, for example, the last class of battleships was known as Iowa-class battleships. There's some debate over whether these would qualify as actual battleships.
Could I make a contention?
Yes, please.
That none of that matters because they're never going to get built.
Okay, yes. Yes. Okay, so yeah, these battleships have had a contentious history from the start.
Yes.
Okay, so it was originally announced there were going to be 10 of them, with construction being almost immediately commenced on 2 of them.
Yes.
And obviously, so the big person pushing this was John D. Phelan, the Secretary of the Navy, and the fact that he was proposing to call them Trump-class battleships, clear sort of flattery, sycophancy towards Trump. And Trump loved it. When Trump was announcing these, he's saying, these are going to be 100 times faster and better than the best battleships. In terms of battleships, and as I said, there's a debate about whether these would have been actual battleships or not, but battleships being very large, armoured ships that are really defined by their guns. So the US hasn't built a new battleship since 1943.
Yes.
And its last one finally went out of service in 1992. So saw a little bit of action in the first Persian Gulf War. And the thing is, they are the opposite to this idea of distributed maritime operation because they're very big, they require huge crews, they require vast amounts of fuel, and they are easy targets for all kinds of things that hunt ships. You know when America learnt this?
Imagine Pearl Harbor.
Pearl Harbor!
Yes.
Yes, where Japanese aircraft sunk 4 of them.
And you'd think that Trump would know that because that's right in the zone of the period he knows.
And the number of Pearl Harbor jokes he makes
Yes.
whenever the Japanese are in town. Yeah, you'd think he would be aware of this. But yeah, that was the beginning of the US instead pursuing aircraft carriers as the means of naval supremacy. And there were a couple of key battles in the Pacific where the superiority of aircraft carriers was shown because the aircraft from them had such a long range. Some of the most famous battles of the Pacific, the ships involved didn't even see each other because they were so far out of range of each other, but it was the aircraft that were operating from the aircraft carriers. Okay, so this is why after the Montana-class battleship was cancelled in 1943, they stopped actually building new ones, though they did repurpose the old ones, for another 50 years. But yeah, there has not been a lot of demand for battleships, but Trump really seemed to like the idea. But you know who didn't like the idea?
Who?
Pete Hegseth.
Oh.
And his Assistant Secretary of Defense, Stephen Feinberg. We don't really know why John Phelan was fired in April this year. But there have been reports suggesting it was because Hegseth and Feinberg were actually sick of Phelan's constant advocacy of the Trump-class battleships, which was directly at odds with what they want to do, which is in line with distributed maritime operations. I know. I'm telling you about Pete Hegseth apparently making logical decisions about procurement.
How bad an idea must the Trump-class battleship be if
Yes.
El Sycophante himself,
Yes.
Pete Hegseth goes, nah, there's a line. I can't even cross that line.
No.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Anyway, so a lot of people took that to be the moment at which the idea was dead. But earlier this month, less than 2 weeks ago, the Congressional Budget Office released costings for it. $275 billion.
This is never going to get built.
Well, especially since the number that Trump was throwing around last year was $15 billion.
$275 billion.
Yeah.
Is there a date on which it's meant to be completed?
2038.
It's never going to get
is
built.
when the first two are supposed to be completed.
270. Look,
Yeah.
to be fair, $275 billion is bargain basement compared to the Golden Dome, what that's going to end up costing. So comparatively, it's a great deal.
Yeah. Now, you might be thinking, surely these ships, surely they must have some advantage if they were proposed in the first place. Well, they would have the ability to deploy missiles.
Yeah.
But here's John D. McCown from the Centre for Maritime Strategy, which is attached to this organisation that supports the Navy. I'm drawing a blank on what the name is, but it was actually founded by Theodore Roosevelt back in the day. So these are people who care very, very deeply about the Navy. This is not some anti-Trump think tank.
They're village people. Right, okay.
Anyway, this is what he says. Today's navies can largely be characterised by their ability to deploy missiles. Even with its high cost, the proposed battleship will have just 128 vertical launching system cells. In comparison, the Ticonderoga class guided missile cruisers has 122 VLS cells, while the Ticonderoga class are older and being phased out. That is not the case with the latest version of the Arleigh Burke DDG-51, which has 96 VLS cells. With a current construction cost of $2.7 billion, you could build 9 of those modern guided missile destroyers for the price of one battleship and have 7 times the missile firepower distributed in a more lethal and survivable manner.
That's great, but that's on old numbers. Do the math. He just said it cost 2.7, was it?
Yeah.
2.7 billion dollars?
No, but that's not for the battleships.
No, for the destroyer.
Yes, yeah.
How much was the battleship again?
275.
Okay, do the math. That's 100 of them.
Yes.
Yes, so he's using Trump's numbers there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because that was, I think that was written before those new numbers came out.
There
But yeah, he also pointed out, this same author, how could these things actually be built? Okay, so the contract for them was going to go to a South Korean company that operates a shipyard in Philadelphia. But this is an incredibly ambitious program that we are talking about. There were reports that Trump was beginning to sour on it a bit because they were saying we're basically going to have to build a lot of this in European shipyards. But speaking of European shipyards, did you hear about the icebreakers earlier this year?
Vaguely.
Yeah. Now, the icebreakers, this is a much cheaper thing that we are talking about. So the Coast Guard currently possesses 2 icebreakers. It asked for 4 icebreakers. Trump played a round of golf with Finland's Prime Minister and suddenly announced that they were getting Finland to build 11 icebreakers exclusively in Finnish shipyards.
Okay.
Now, those are relatively cheap. Those are only like $1 billion each. But it was very weird given how much the administration generally insists on building ships in the United States, because a whole part of these proposals is it's not just about the ships that are being built, it's about American shipbuilding capacity. The battleship proposal was originally a response not to an operational need, but to the news that there was a new estimate that Chinese shipbuilding capacity now exceeded American shipbuilding capacity.
Exceeds?
Exceeds.
It's 100 times as much.
Yes.
Actually more. I think it's 200 or 300 times as much.
So, yeah.
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 So why would you fill up every shipyard with the Trump class battleship?
You'd have to ask John D. Phelan about that if you can find him.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
There is a. I don't know if you're about to say this, but there's another context to this as well, which is that you're talking about battleships.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Yep.
That's what the Trump class is.
Yes.
But as you say, there are other ships out there. There's destroyers, there's aircraft carriers.
Yes.
America's got problems with all of them.
Yeah.
Like the aircraft carriers, they have a legislated minimum of 11.
Yes.
They're on 11.
Yep. And one's about to retire.
Yeah, exactly. And some are about to retire. And they're just going to have to keep them going
Yes.
beyond their retirement.
Yep.
Because they need to have 11 by law.
Yes. So the Nimitz is about to retire. The John F. Kennedy is not ready for service at the moment. And the Doris Miller hasn't been built yet.
And we'll get to the Doris Miller in a second.
Yes.
All right, so there's a clock ticking on those aircraft carriers. They need to build more quick and not worry about these pipe dreams, these battleship pipe dreams, when there's actual stuff they need right now. Destroyers. They also haven't built a new class of them forever. Like, yes, they're still pumping out the Arleigh Burkes, but that's an ancient class. And the other one you said was not Tegucigalpa. That's the capital of Honduras.
Ticonderoga.
Ticonderoga. Thank you. So, yeah, I mean, they're from like the 80s.
The Ticonderoga is being retired.
Yeah, like they're an old class as well.
Yeah.
America hasn't built a new class of anything forever. And they're running out of these ships.
Yes.
And they're not replacing them with anything. And not only do they desperately need some new ships to keep up with China in case they go to a naval war with China, because as you say, China's just pumping out all the new ships. But on top of that, even the new versions of these old ships are being delayed indefinitely, because of some faffing around, which I'm sure we're about to get to.
Yes.
And everything takes 10 years, 15 years. It takes forever to get something new. So wasting 4 years and potentially hundreds of billions of dollars, they can't afford to do that.
No.
That's the context.
Yes. Yeah. So this is the context to all the stories that we have been seeing this week. Okay. So let's start with the Abraham Lincoln. The Abraham Lincoln this year broke the record for longest deployment in history, 270 days. The previous record was 204 days. So it smashed the record.
Well done. Well done, Lincoln. You've done it again.
Not the first time this year that we have heard stories about things going wrong on an aircraft carrier.
That's true.
There was another one that was out there for a very long time this year that you may remember the stories of the laundry fires and things like that, because it had been, first of all, deployed to Venezuela, then straight from there to Iran before it was sent home. But the Abraham Lincoln's been out there for a long time, and there were stories emerging, mainly from families of crew members, about very high levels of stress, problems with food and water supplies, and most alarmingly, crew members contemplating throwing themselves off the ship.
One person did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they end up getting rescued. I was just going to say, just to put this in context,
Yep.
normally with these ships, I mean, because like people, they think like a cruise. Oh, isn't that lovely? But no,
I've never thought that.
but
then again, I don't even have the stomach for a 3-hour harbour cruise. So
fair enough. I think from the sounds of what Trump was saying, he was thinking that. Normally they dock every 30 to 45 days for not just replenishing stocks, which they obviously need to do, but also just for the sailors just to walk around just to get some land legs for a little while.
Yes.
And they have those breaks every month or month and a half or so. This one, they stopped in December. I think when they stopped in December, the sailors didn't even get off. And they stopped in early July in Oman for like a day, and the sailors weren't allowed to walk around then either.
No, they weren't.
And apart from that, they've been in battle.
Yes.
And when they're in battle and they're supporting combat operations, it's a long day. It's a long, stressful day.
Yeah.
And for a lot of that time, they haven't had fruit because they ran out of supplies because they didn't have the opportunity to stop for every 30 or 45 days.
Yes.
I've got some pictures of some of the food they've been eating. Have you seen the pictures?
I have not seen the pictures.
Okay, have a look at these scrumptious
I'm very glad
meals.
I'm not eating at the moment.
Look at that.
We call that the scurvy special.
I heard that they had two options for meat. I guess they're the two options for gross and grosser. But wait, Dave. That's just one meal. Maybe you'll prefer the other meal. Should we look at the other meal?
Yes, yeah. Let's have a look at the other meal.
I think
It's Mexican night.
For those who can't see it, we've got a tiny sort of tortilla. And what is that? Dog food? What is that?
I reckon.
It doesn't look appetizing.
I reckon it's probably seagull.
Might be shredded seagull. and the thing that stands out in both those meals is there's a lot more empty tray than full tray. A lot more. So
Okay.
that's what we're talking
Shouldn't
about there.
laugh. That is actually horrifying.
But that's what they've been living on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is what they've been living on. Now, why is this? One of the reasons is that the kinds of ports they usually use, the kinds of bases that they usually used, were more damaged at the outset of the war than the US military was actually letting on.
And when you say outset, you mean day one.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, you might remember at the outset of the war, the way that it was described by the administration and by a lot of the media were Iran's just wildly firing at anything. Look at all these random countries like Bahrain and the UAE, and occasionally they hit something, and something might have landed near a military base, but don't worry, no one was hurt. Okay, no, that's not what was happening. Iran was actually pretty deliberately targeting the weakest points in the US supply chain, and did so very effectively, especially in Bahrain and in the UAE. So that meant the US has had major problems actually resupplying these ships, let alone being able to stop at these bases. Can't stop in Bahrain, can't stop in the UAE. As you said, in Oman, it's just not considered safe to stop for any length of time. So it's actually the reason why they're in this situation is because of Iranian military action, which actually did a lot more damage than they let on.
Absolutely. The nearest safe base for them to go to is 2,200 kilometres away in the Maldives.
Garcia.
That's the one.
Yes, which Iran also took a shot at.
They did.
Yeah, that wasn't just because it was the morality police going after all the porn. No.
In hindsight, we're
having great laughs about it at the time.
We were the porn capital, but in hindsight, that's probably why they were taking a shot at it.
Yep.
Because they thought, well, just not like the Americans aren't going there because it's too far away, but just in case they get desperate, let's take them out as well.
So they weren't flailing as wildly as the media was reporting and as the Trump administration was reporting. So Bradley Cooper, not the Hollywood star, the Admiral Bradley Cooper, the leader of Central Command, who is also an actor, but just a far less convincing one.
Yes.
He has sent he's sent that aircraft carrier home. Shouldn't use the term troop, the sailors home. He wrote this op-ed about it in the Wall Street Journal, which I think almost moved Mark Thiessen to tears, describing how he'd gone on board this aircraft carrier, and though everyone was tired, they were still hungry for the fight. And he said he did talk to them about the food and water issues, but that was all news. That was all resolved months ago.
I don't care whether he went on board. I care whether he used the toilet.
Yeah.
That's all I care about, because I keep on hearing about their toilets and they're not great.
I also just don't believe a word he says.
Yes.
He has frequently proven himself to be a Trump-class liar.
Right.
But anyway, he at least did what you would expect, which is when there have been all these disturbing news stories about how bad conditions are, he writes an op-ed saying, well, the real story here is how great these crew members are, and we have to think about the sacrifices they've made and the sacrifices their families made. That's the most important thing, and that's why they're going home now, because they've done such a great job. Very easy, simple line to follow.
Yeah.
This is not the line that Trump followed.
I was going to say, even Hegseth did they're manfully battling on.
Yeah.
Well done,
acknowledging that it's tough conditions.
Yeah.
No. Not Trump.
What else do I have to say?
Family members of U.S. service members are concerned about the conditions on board the USS Sydney.
Well, no, that ship is moving. No, they're not. That ship is moving right now, or very shortly, and it's being replaced with another very similar ship.
Has the deployment's gone on too long? Are you worried
No. Not nearly long enough.
Not nearly long enough, he says.
He did not need to say Not nearly long enough.
I've actually got as well, I've got a few things clipped up for you here, Dave. I've also got Mark Kelly's response to that, which is pretty good. Let's have a look at that.
The president's comments are just uncalled for. I mean, he's a guy that has spent a good portion of his adult life sitting on gold toilets and doesn't know what hardship is and doesn't understand our service members. In fact, it's insulting what he said, that the deployment wasn't long enough. He doesn't know sacrifice.
Talking about which, I reckon Mark Kelly might be sitting on the toilet as he's doing that cross, but not a gold one.
Yeah, look, I'm sure once you've used a space toilet, any other toilet is pretty luxurious in comparison.
But yeah, it was an interesting comment from Trump. I should say as well.
Interesting comment.
There was a second comment as well.
Oh, dear.
Because that first one didn't go so well. So he tried again.
The Lincoln has been out there for a period of time, good period of time. But over the years, we've had them out there much longer. I was at a group meeting, and an admiral came up to see me over the weekend. And it was at a big group, and he happened to be an admiral retired. He said, I've been on ships that are out there much longer than that, sir. And I know people on the Lincoln, they say it's beautifully maintained and beautifully taken care of. And other people went out and they found out to be true. It was fake news reporting from CNN.
Yeah.
We all know there's only one word we care about there, isn't there?
Sir.
The word sir. It means you disregard the rest. Yeah, so as we already said, it's a record. He's lying, and it's a sir story. So that's a second reason he's lying.
Yep. So the ship that is coming to relieve it is the USS George Washington, which is coming from the Pacific.
Yeah, from Vietnam.
And for reasons that we'll get into a little bit later in the episode, there are some American regional allies in the area who are a little bit alarmed about that.
Because now there are no carriers.
Now there are no carriers.
And we should say this is all past tense because I believe they switched over a couple of hours ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think the Lincoln's
there you go.
on its way back. The Washington's there. So
we are breaking news.
I'm actually up to date for once. Right,
Yeah.
Dave.
Yes.
Astonishing.
On PEP.
Yes. Yeah, so that's the Lincoln.
That's the Lincoln. That wasn't even the story that got the most attention.
Oh, hang on. If you're heading where I think you're heading, we do need to talk about the...
I'm heading into the steam.
Oh, good. I thought you were heading to the big one.
No.
Okay.
No, still maintaining the naval focus rather than the tangential
Okay, let's go.
focus. Okay, Trump has had a bee in his bonnet about aircraft carrier catapults, the devices that launch the aircraft, since 2017.
Yes.
This is kind of a typical Trump story. So in 2017, the USS Gerald Ford implemented this new catapult system, which was electromagnetic, known as emails, rather than the old steam catapult system. If you're familiar with the steam catapult system, it might be because you saw it at the beginning of Top Gun.
That's where Trump saw it.
That is definitely where Trump saw it. Now, when the electromagnetic system was originally implemented, as you'd expect, it had a few teething problems. Before the ship was commissioned, Trump went and visited the Gerald Ford. And apparently, according to Trump law, he had a conversation with some sailor. The name of this sailor keeps changing.
This is in an interview with Time magazine.
Yes.
Because Trump's the only politician who's been treating Time magazine like it's a thing for the last 30 years. And in the interview, he says, the catapult is quite important. So I said, what is this? Sir, this is there we go. That's all you need to know. I can just stop reading now, but I will keep reading. Sir, this is our digital catapult system. He said, well, we're going to this because we wanted to keep up with modern technology. I said, you don't use steam anymore for catapult? No, sir. I said, how's it working? Sir, not good. Not good. Doesn't have the power. The steam is just brutal. You see that sucker going and steam's going all over the place. There's planes thrown in the air. It sounded bad to me. Digital. They've got digital. What's digital? And it's very complicated. You have to be Albert Einstein to figure it out. And I said, and now they want to buy more aircraft carriers. I said, what system are you going to be? Sir, we're staying with digital. I said, no, you're not. You're going to goddamn Steam. The digital costs hundreds of millions of dollars more money and it's no good. So that's what, 5 sirs?
Yes.
So it's 5 times bullshit.
Yeah.
That story.
So this is 2017.
Yeah.
By the way, I do love his very poetic descriptions of the planes taking off. The planes being thrown. Like, there is something nice, the planes being thrown into the air.
They're on the highway to the danger zone.
Yeah. It reminds me of Yeats's poem, An Irish Airman Foresees His Death. He talks about the lonely impulse of delight. Thrown into the... And there was another speech where Trump was talking about Top Gun. And he talked about... Rhapsodized about the planes being thrown into the ocean.
He's our Yeats.
He is our Yeats, yes. Anyway, so Trump likes the steam. Trump wants the steam.
Yeah.
And Trump has been... Everyone sort of hoped that he'd just forgotten about this.
Oh, no.
Trump has not forgotten about the steam.
No.
So we mentioned earlier the aircraft carrier Doris Miller. That's in the process of being built. They're already halfway through constructing the electromagnetic catapult. And now Trump has announced, no, he wants a steam catapult.
He's got an executive order out, though.
He's got an executive order out.
Called Rebuilding the United States Navy and America's Shipbuilding Industrial Base.
Okay.
And it says, within 60 days, the Secretary of War shall provide a plan on the required measures to replace the electromagnetic aircraft launch system and advanced weapons elevators with steam and hydraulic systems for the construction of CVN-81, that's Doris Miller, including timelines and resourcing requirements.
Now, Brian Clark, who is part of the Hudson Institute, once again, not some anti-Trump think tank, not some never-Trump Republican outfit, not some, Brookings-style pansies. No, this is a pretty consistently, in recent years, pro-Trump think tank.
Sure.
He wrote this very reasoned, measured op-ed in the Washington Post, something you don't often see in the Washington Post these days, patiently explaining why this is not a good idea. Okay? And he points out when steam catapults were first implemented, there were many more systems on ships that actually relied on steam, including cooking systems and laundry systems.
Yep.
Now, basically, everything outside the engine room is electrical. So you don't have the same sort of synchronicity between steam catapults and the systems on the rest of the ships. It made a lot more sense to have steam catapults when everything else on the ship was steam. Now it would be the only steam system on the ship.
That's an excellent point.
What that means, not my point, it's Brian Clark's point. What that means is, first of all, this would be way more expensive. Second, it would require far more crew. The number that keeps getting thrown around is electric systems. They require a total of 500 less crew to actually operate them than steam systems. And given one of the big issues with the US Navy at the moment is how thin it is stretched, you really need to be a lot more cost efficient than suddenly announcing that, you're probably going to be spending a few more years putting in a steam system that is then going to be a lot more expensive to operate.
Not to mention,
the
electromagnetic system is more precise.
Yes.
With how it throws the planes into the air.
Yeah.
It's lighter.
Yep.
It requires less space, has a faster recharge time,
Yeah.
and so therefore you can get more planes up in the air quickly. Maintenance is much cheaper for
Yes.
the electric system than for the steam system.
Yep.
Also, because of exactly the point you just made about there is no steam system on the Doris Miller at the moment.
Yes, yeah.
It means that They have to put in pipes. They have to put in steam generation areas, which now are being used by something else, which means they need to redesign the entire ship when they are 50% of the way through building all the parts for this ship already.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
That is a problem.
This ship isn't even due until 2034. It's going to put it off until the late...
Probably
the late
2038,
30s.
when we're supposed to see the Trump-class battleships coming along.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's an argument made by some nerd in a think tank. I think Trump's got some pretty good arguments of his own.
I love the sight of that beautiful steam pouring off that deck with the electric. You don't have that. So, we did the Ford and electric, the cost overruns, everything else. But, I hope it's going to be okay. But I like steam. We're going to go back to steam. They change just for the sake of changing. I said to the architect, have you ever designed a ship before?
Have you ever designed a ship before, Donald? I think he thinks he has. That's one argument. It just looks beautiful and they change it for the sake of changing
changing it for the sake of changing.
By the way, it's not just them that's changing for the sake of changing.
Yeah.
China changed theirs as well for the sake of changing, apparently.
Yes.
But also, the best argument's this one. This is his most infamous argument from January 2024. This one here.
They had an almost $1 billion cost overrun on the magnetic elevators. Think of it, magnets. Now, all I know about magnets is this. Give me a glass of water. Let me drop it on the magnets. That's the end of the magnets.
All he knows, he says, is that magnets aren't waterproof.
That puts him one step beyond Insane Clown Posse, who famously asked, fucking magnets, how do they work?
Except they know nothing, whereas he knows one thing that's wrong. So I think he's behind them.
Yes, no, you're right. Sorry, ICP, Trump is in deficit.
Just imagine how arrogant and stupid you need to be to think that Navy engineers adopted a system for their boats that can't tolerate a drop of water and you're the only person who knows this.
That's right.
What state of mind do you need to be in to think that?
Yeah. Well, and this is why he's coming up with, it's just change for the sake of change.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a problem.
This is a problem. If I were making an argument on Trump's behalf for steam over electric, you know what I would say? Well, what system was it that cooked that food that we just saw? Electric.
That's true.
You really want that? Throwing your planes into the sea?
That would be an unbeatable argument.
Yeah.
But it goes to make the point.
Yes.
That in the executive order
that
I just quoted from before, it explains, because it's not just about steam, it's also about building more ships generally, right?
Yep.
And it explains in this executive order, in Trump's own executive order, why the ships are being delayed and why it's taking so long to get ships out. Let me quote Trump's own executive order.
Yes.
Because of a series of shipbuilding setbacks stemming from overly complex designs and iterative design change procedures. Exactly like he has just implemented just now with that executive order.
Yeah.
It's astonishing the lack of self-awareness.
It is.
So, this is a ship they need right now, and it's not going to be ready till 2034 at the best, but now it's going to be even later. So this is not good.
Yeah.
But that's not the only change he wants to make.
No.
Go on, Dave.
In Trump's words, I'm a very aesthetic person.
Yes.
And he said he does not like the aesthetics of the ships that are being built at the moment. So aircraft carriers, as you may well have seen on TV, they have this tower that is known colloquially as the island, which is the command center that is towards the rear of the ship. But that's not how they were on the original World War II aircraft carriers.
Should we show the peppers?
Please do.
This is how they are now.
Yep.
Boo! Boo! That sucks!
Oh,
I hate that!
Look at it. You can hardly even see it all the way back there.
That's so functional. Let's see how they used to be. Bring it!
There you go.
That's how a ship should look.
Okay, so for those of you who
better.
can't see, it's in the middle of the ship and it's on one side.
Yes, as opposed to the back and one side.
Yes.
And
yeah.
the reason, by the way, they're now at the back and one side is so there's maximum area for planes to be flown off the aircraft carrier, because that's the point of the aircraft carrier, not to look good when 6-year-olds play with them, as Trump may be doing right now on his desk.
Yeah.
Yes. So what he's done.
But that aircraft carrier was all I won World War II. What did you ever do?
Well, that's true.
You just got your toilets blocked.
Yeah, no, that's true. The new ones don't work as well as that one. Well, that one did get blown up by the Japanese, but let's leave that aside. But to be fair, he hasn't actually necessarily ordered them to change the Doris Miller yet.
No.
He just asked for a review, which, by the way, he also asked for in his first term. And they came back and said, this will cost many billions of dollars and be stupid. So don't do that. So now he's asked for another review. Now he's got yes men in charge.
Yeah.
And we'll see how that goes.
But even the yes men, they're saying things like, yes, we could do that.
The yes men, their yeses have curves in them now. Like, yes. Yes. Sure.
So, so that's the other design change that he wants to make. Probably not going to happen.
But if it does, that will set the Doris Miller back even more billions of dollars and even more years. And I can't emphasize enough, Doris Miller is meant to replace ships that are supposed to be retired now.
Yeah.
And it's 10 years away. Good stuff.
Anyway.
So, Dave.
But that then brings us to the most sensational story of the week. I wouldn't say the biggest, but the most sensational. Okay. So this brings us to Democratic Georgia Senator Jon Ossoff. There have been some pundits who've been suggesting for a while that Ossoff is really somebody to watch in the 2028 presidential race.
I thought that.
Yeah. He is regarded as a very talented communicator. Good speaker. He's really got a progressive lane open to him.
And it's right in the middle of the Democratic Party.
Yes.
He's acceptable to the left. He's acceptable to the centrists.
Yeah.
He's charismatic. He's young. He's got a tinge of gravitas about him.
Yep. He's won in a red state.
Yep. Yeah, no, he's good off the cuff. He's good in interviews and he's good on the stump.
Yeah.
So, and he hasn't been around so long that he's got a track record.
No.
So, he's well placed.
He has it. Yes, yeah.
And also, to the extent that Israel is an issue that divides Democrats, not so much these days.
Yeah.
They're pretty much on the same side now.
Yeah.
But to the extent that Israel could be a problem with independence, potentially, as an issue, I don't think it's going to be, but to the extent that it could, Jon Ossoff has democratic views about Israel and he's Jewish.
Yes.
So he's kind of in that, once again, he's in that happy place.
Yes, yeah. Now, despite all of these pluses, I would say he wasn't really a household name until this week.
Yep.
Yeah. He wasn't one of the more talked about people in the field, but then he came out with this comment.
And there's something uniquely despicable about lying a nation into war. Treating citizens as fools and those who serve as pawns. Aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln, they've now been at sea for 240 plus days without a port call. It's a Navy record. And still they serve with excellence. God bless the sailors, Marines, aviators, and all aboard the United States ship Abraham Lincoln. See, they don't expect luxury. They'll endure hardship. But they deserve competent leaders who send them into combat only when necessary, and with decisive clarity of purpose, not fools who lie about the purpose and progress of war. And while the sailors on the Lincoln fight his war, while he fruitlessly drains our munitions and oil reserves, the president sleeps through his meetings. He golfs and trades stocks. See, he doesn't want to do the job. He wants to build his ballroom and travel with Natalie on their apparently defenseless flying palace gifted by the Emir of Qatar.
Now, I play that long, A, to show that the guy can speak.
Yes.
But
and also, if your criteria for a candidate is someone who would have been really well played by Adrian Brody 20 years ago, he is your man.
He is your man. But secondly, because of exactly what you said before, he knows that before you get your attack off, you
Yes.
go rah the troops.
That's right.
Which Trump doesn't seem to know.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So that and the hit dog hollered hard
Yes.
after he did that.
Yes, he did. By the way, I should mention, because I'm not sure if I did mention, so he's running for re-election in the Senate again.
He is.
This year, you might remember there were 2 Senate races in Georgia in 2021.
Yes.
That both of them were won by Democrats. Republicans at that point, this was the sort of peak of Republican bitterness towards Trump because they felt that Trump should actually get involved in that race instead of complaining about the election being stolen. Anyway, he, I think, looks, polling at the moment suggests he's in a very good position to win that race.
Yeah, he's miles ahead.
Okay, yes. So you may have heard the reference to Natalie.
Natalie.
Where else have you heard about Natalie? You heard about her right here last week on PEP. So
last week we mentioned.
Last week we mentioned.
Wait,
So yes,
I mentioned Natalie about 6 months ago as well.
yeah. So she and Walt Nauta were among the very few people that Trump took with him onto the real plane. Now, I mentioned both Walt Nauta and Natalie. They're originally his staff from Mar-a-Lago. So they seem to be forming his kind of closest circle at the moment. But the relationship with Natalie didn't begin at Mar-a-Lago. It began with her having bone cancer. Yeah. So she had bone cancer. And this was around the time Trump was signing into law so-called right to try legislation, which was about the right of patients to be able to demand experimental medication in life-threatening circumstances. And Natalie Harp came to his attention because she did have an experimental treatment that worked, and she attributed this to Trump. She said, all of the doctors, the oncologists were telling me no, but because of this right to try legislation, I was able to get the treatment that saved my life. Very moving story. There were a couple of problems with it, namely that the drug that she used had been approved by the FDA by the time she used it 2 months before right to try was signed into law.
They're 2 pretty big problems.
Yeah. Yes. So, look, it's quite admirable that she survived cancer with not exactly experimental treatment, but to that point, not used very often treatment. But
She used it off-label.
Yeah.
Which was allowed at the time.
Yes.
Nothing to do with the right to try.
Yes, yeah. But that, that does seem to have been an act of flattery towards Trump that subsequently paid off with her becoming one of Trump's most trusted staff members.
Indeed.
Okay, so what exactly is the nature of this relationship? Maggie Haberman described her as basically his security blanket. His binky, yes. in her words.
Yes.
Okay. So you also would have seen the previous reference to her that Chaz made before was she was shown in this footage that was put out by the Trump administration of the magic of how Trump's Truth Social posts get made, which is he doesn't hammer them out himself using his own thumbs on his phone. He actually dictates them to Natalie Harp, and then she puts in all of the unorthodox capitalization and things like that.
And the way the retruths are made is
Yes.
she prints out all the memes that get sent to him.
That's right.
With him sort of dressed as Julius Caesar or whatever. And then he ticks them.
Yep.
And then she retruths the ones that he's selected.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which hence is her other nickname, the human printer.
Yes.
Yes.
Because she prints them out.
Yes. Yeah. Now, we are now deep into this sort of Kremlinological era of American politics, where there is a lot of attention paid to the court politics of the Trump regime. And when all the stuff about the plane came out, I remember El Hardy made this point that there's all of this criminology going on of, is Pete Hegseth back in the good books because of the fact that he was, he was on the good plane. Okay, from that point of view, Natalie Harp seems to have made quite a few enemies within the White House because of how close she is to him. That could just be jealousy, because like a lot of people want to be that close to Trump. A lot of people would be pretty jealous of the fact that she got to go on the safe plane. There may also be legitimate concerns about how much influence this very inexperienced person whose only qualification seems to be complete flattery to Trump is potentially having on Trump.
But another thing they'd be jealous of with her is that she may be the only person in the world that Trump truly trusts.
That's right.
And one of the examples of that is one of the things we've heard about is that Trump apparently, when it was first leaked that she sent him these devotional letters, which I'm sure we'll read at one point in time during this.
Yes.
That was leaked back in the end of 2024, I believe.
Yeah.
Trump, even before he was in office, he ordered a leak investigation to find out who was responsible for those leaks.
Yes.
And apparently he was absolutely nuts about it.
Yeah.
But he never, for a second, he was trying to expose who leaked it.
Yes, yeah.
He never for a second thought the obvious, which is it would have been her.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it was her. I don't think it was her. But the fact is that Trump, normally the first person he'd suspect is the person himself. But he trusts her so implicitly that it didn't even occur to him that it could be her.
Yeah.
There's no one else in his office that he would trust that much.
No. And she's definitely got enemies who think it was her. And some of those enemies have referred to her in leaks to the media as a stalker inside the White House.
Well, there are stories about that as well.
Yes. Do you want to get into those now?
Oh, yeah, sure. Why not? Let's tell some of these stories. She joined the Trump campaign before it even started, during the trials in 2023.
Yep.
And there are two stories in particular from the early days which speak to that sort of stalking vibe of Natalie Harp. One is that when he was going off to one of his court appearances, he, according to her, he demanded her to come along so she literally has a printer around her neck. Like she walks around with a printer so she can print memes
She's like
constantly.
Flavor Flav except with a printer instead of a clock.
And Trump apparently wanted her to be printing out memes in the middle of the trial in court. Like, here you are fraternizing with Benjamin Franklin. Yeah. Anyway, and she couldn't get on the car. She couldn't get a trip in the car to the court.
Yeah.
And she was like demanding, I have to go. Trump said I could go. And they were saying, no, you can't go. They're like, what? You got a printer around your neck. You can't go. And so she jumped into the trunk of the car.
Wow.
To go to court. So she could be next to Trump. So that's one example. Another example Is that this is in 2024?
So the catering cart would have been fine.
Yes. Oh, by the way, I mean I was going to talk about this in the
Yeah.
correspondence, but I might as well. I don't have the name in front of me because I'm going to save all this for the correspondence. But let me just acknowledge right now, because a lot of peppers said this. I was confusing catering cart with catering truck.
Okay.
They said this isn't like the thing that gets pushed around the hospital. This is a catering truck. You can fit many people. Like Trump would have been quite comfortable in there. So, okay, sorry about that.
I was thinking of the thing that gets pushed down the aisle in economy.
Yeah, I was imagining that kind of thing as well.
Yeah.
But apparently not. Anyway, so thank you very much, Peppers, for sending me straight there. But the second story is back in 2024, summer 2024, during the campaign, they spent summer at Trump's golf club in Bedminster. And at that point in time, there were already people who had had enough of Natalie Harp. They thought she was creepy as, and they wanted her nowhere near Trump. They called it the Natalie problem.
Yes.
Right? And because he was already becoming a bit attached to her. And so they intentionally didn't book her a room in the golf club so she couldn't be there when they were there on holidays. You might say it's a sign of jealousy. What she did was she spent the summer sleeping in the women's locker room
Wow.
so she could be near Trump.
That's devotion.
Yeah, so there are definitely stalker vibes to her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should we talk about the letters?
Yes.
These are the letters which I talked about before. I said, they were leaked in 2024. Apparently, she likes to write him letters. And look, I'm going to just quote
Yep.
the New York Times here.
Okay.
This is just word for word what they wrote.
Yeah.
Quote, "You are all that matters to me," she wrote in one of the letters, which was seen by the New York Times. The letter's authenticity was confirmed by two people with direct knowledge of them. "I don't ever want to let you down," Miss Harp wrote, thanking Mr. Trump for being her guardian and protector in this life. In another letter, she told Mr. Trump that she wanted to get back to that synergy she used to have with him, where we'd talk about everything and nothing. "I want to bring you joy," she wrote, "to feel like we can get through a day without ever having to talk work." It's just a bit creepy.
Yeah. Now, look, that might sound stalkery and sexual,
And cult-like.
but
Yes.
that's how he wishes everyone would talk to him.
Yes.
You are the only thing that matters to me.
And the thing is, like, there's been...
Let's talk about everything and nothing. As long as he was the one who was allowed to do the talking, I'm sure he would be fine with Steve Miller telling him that.
I'm sure he would. The conservatives, like the MAGA, the MAGA allied people who, oh my God, they responded to the signal. They just tweeted en masse about this. For people watching, can you just put up the Matrix? They en masse, just within minutes, they just all responded. And they all said the same thing. They talked about the bone cancer and they talked about an affair, how sleazy John Ossoff was for implying that they had an affair. I'm not even sure John Ossoff was trying to imply that they had an affair. I certainly don't think that is likely. I think the truth is much creepier than that. Like, if only it was just an 80-year-old having sex with a 30-year-old. Like, it's just like, I mean, that's gross enough. But her obsession with him is strange, and his need for her to be around him at all times, being a sycophant and sending him, like, showing him printouts of him as AI, like an AI NFL quarterback or something.
Carrying a printer around her neck.
It's just, there's something really, really, really awkward and awful about it. His need for that. And the fact he falls apart if he doesn't get it.
Yeah.
That's way worse, which is, I think, the reason they all jumped on board immediately as soon as John Ossoff brought her up.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think that's what's happening. I don't think a conventional affair is what's happening.
But ironically, them all going on about an affair, saying, "Oh, how disgusting that you're acting like she's having an affair," is making that a piece of gossip.
Yes.
But maybe they're doing it intentionally. I don't think they are doing it intentionally. But that, to me, that's better than the truth.
Yes.
It's at least the truth that I perceive.
Yeah. No, the truth that you perceive, which I think is probably pretty accurate, it is disturbing on a number of levels.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's my favourite. Do you have any favourite reactions? to Ossoff?
No.
My favourite one is Stephen Chung, the
Okay.
Director of
Yes.
Communication.
What does he say?
John Jackoff has to be the biggest cuck loser in politics. Instead of denigrating hard-working people serving their country, John should look deep into his soul and ask himself why he's a miserable person who hates this country. It's because he's a radical extremist Democrat. Oh my God. Like, honestly, if you came out with that in kindergarten,
Yeah.
like the kids would go, no, you got to repeat, mate.
That's right. Yeah.
it's just
He's really losing his touch.
it's just too juvenile.
Stephen Chung? Yes. But anyway, hardworking people who are serving their country by carrying a printer around their neck.
Yes, and
To print out a constant stream of memes to provide Trump with comfort.
yeah, the memes that have Trump winning an Oscar and a Nobel Peace Prize at the same time. I really try to channel the way these memes work. Every time will be a different one.
The thing is, I'm sure that every time you say it, it comes into existence.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Probably. Yeah.
Anyway, so yes, that's linked to what we were saying about the Navy because of the fact that it came at the end of a speech about the Abraham Lincoln.
Well, John Ossoff has been asked to clarify a number of times since. And all he does is relay it back to what he wants to talk about, which
Yeah.
is the Navy. Have a look.
Lawrence, it's been amazing to watch this White House melt down over this all week. And about Natalie Harp, these White House staffers are adults, public officials paid by the taxpayer with immense power in positions of public trust. And whether it's Natalie Harp printing out Donald Trump's daily dose of delusion and flattery, or Peter Navarro steering taxpayer-funded loans to Trump family investments, or Pete Hegseth deluding the president daily into deepening this quagmire in the Middle East, no one cares about their feelings. The sailors on the Lincoln are fighting his war, a war based on lies, while he plays with his new ballroom, flies around on a jet given to him by a foreign prince, and retreats into this circle of sycophantic aides who tell him every day what he wants to hear, not what he needs to hear. This entire White House is responsible for lying the country into war, and for the rest of their careers, they will be known for having participated in this obscenity.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Is Stephen Chung called MS now, MS-13 now yet?
I don't believe so.
He definitely should.
Okay. I'll pass it on. I know he's a
Yeah.
pepper.
Free burn.
What I'd like to ask you, though,
Yes.
is just from an Ossoff point of view, we've been talking about Harp a bit. I don't think it's necessarily good for Ossoff. Like, I think he's running in Georgia still. The election's not for 3 months.
Yeah.
If they think he's running for president now, he could lose that.
No, I disagree.
You think he's just home and hose?
Well, no, I don't think he's home and hose. But as I've said before, in the midterms, increasingly, I don't think that the candidates are going to matter.
I think he's well ahead of where he should be based on Trump approval.
Yeah.
Like, he's like 6-7 points up in Georgia.
Yes. Yeah.
And-
But I don't think that the voters are going to care if he's potentially running for president in a while. What the deteriorating conditions for Trump and for Republicans, yeah, plus Ossoff's high name recognition and that sort of thing, I don't think that's going to turn voters off. Like, yes, yeah, I think it's transparently obvious that he is running for president in 2028. I don't think that's the same kind of problem for him as it could be for Abdul Sayed.
yeah,
If people
he
keep
shouldn't be running for
saying,
president.
yes, El Sayed 2028. No, he should be trying to dampen that down as much as possible.
Yeah.
Ossoff's already been senator for 6 years.
Yeah.
I don't think that's really a problem for him at all. I think this is a net positive for him because of the fact that it's getting him a lot of national attention.
Certainly is.
Which is going to get him a lot of national money.
Yeah, no, that's certainly the case. Do you have anything else to add on this topic?
No, I think that's the end of our naval gazing.
Very good. I think I know you, Lockie. I reckon that's got title potential. What do you reckon? Do you think we can do better than that? I don't think we can.
I'm a big fan currently of Total Affix of the Harp.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you come up with that, or was that Pepper?
That's me.
Oh, there you go. Well done.
Pat myself on the back.
That's pretty good.
We did Bonnie Tyler like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of hoping to save time on the Photoshop at the end.
Fair enough. Let's see if we can think of anything else before the end of this pod. Dave, I want to talk to you about the Ballroom. This
Yes.
has been a little while coming, but
Yep.
it's the worst news in the world for Trump. that
Okay.
The Ballroom has been halted by the courts. Lockie, you're just cutting corners everywhere. That's an old title thumbnail. I don't think I don't know that. It was a 2-1 ruling by DC Circuit Court panel freezing the Ballroom. There's Obama appointed Patricia Millett.
Yep.
And Biden appointed Bradley Garcia with a 2. Trump appointed Naomi Rao was in dissent. Basically, they've upheld the decision of the district court judge, Richard Leon, who was a Bush nominee.
Yep.
They've allowed the below ground construction to continue. That's a security element. But the above ground construction can only continue when strictly necessary to protect those facilities or ensure the safety and structural integrity of the White House complex.
Yep.
Okay. Now, the basic premise of the judgment is each president is, as a quote from Millett, this here, each president is a temporary tenant, not the owner of the White House and its executive residence. We are aware of no instance in American history in which a president unilaterally and using privately collected funds demolished substantial portions of the White House that Congress authorized to be built and American taxpayers paid for until now. And they said Trump can't build the Ballroom without congressional approval. Quote, the Constitution assigns Congress, not the executive, the responsibility to decide whether proposed changes to the physical design of the White House may proceed, even where those changes are said to serve security interests. The defendants have not shown that the Congress delegated that authority to either the President or the National Park Service. Whether or not a massive ballroom should be constructed is for Congress to decide. It's not a matter for executive self-help. Whereas, she said, according to Trump's logic, the president could bulldoze the entire White House and replace it with a new building of his own design, including a skyscraper. Yes, that is exactly Trump's logic. So let's get into the details here. Do you have anything to add before we go on?
I think Richard Nixon, he filled in a swimming pool or paved over a tennis court or something.
I think Obama paved over a tennis court.
Yeah.
He made a basketball court.
Yeah. But this is obviously a different order of change
Magnitude, yes.
that we're talking. Also, I think that Obama did that because he actually liked basketball.
Yeah.
I think that Nixon did it out of pure spite.
Oh, so, okay.
Yeah.
Also, I think Obama's covering the tennis court with the, or covering whatever he did with the basketball court was temporary as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, the government has conceded that the Constitution assigns control of federal property to Congress. They're not disputing that. They can't dispute it.
No.
It's in black and white.
Well, they could. There's some stuff they've disputed over the years that seem
true.
pretty black and white. But
That
yes,
is true.
okay.
But they said that several laws have combined to allow this use of authority.
Okay.
First law, Section 105D, they say authorizes the president to use appropriated money for the care, maintenance, repair, alteration, refurnishing, improvement, air conditioning, heating, and lighting, including electric power and fixtures, of the executive residence at the White House. That's what the law says.
Okay.
Now, I can hear from that, okay, that you can already see some problems here.
Yep.
You're free to just yell them out if you want, or I'll just go through them one by one.
The executive residence is a specific part of the White House.
That's right.
This is not the executive residence.
It's not the whole East Wing. The executive residence is just where they live.
Yes.
So you're right. That's problem number one. Right. Another problem is to use appropriated money. In 2024, 2025, and 2026, Congress appropriated $2.5 million to be used for required maintenance, resolution of safety and health issues, and continued preventative maintenance of the White House. Not sure that says knock it all down and rebuild it. To me, the words alteration and improvement don't mean knock it down and rebuild it. You certainly can't use unappropriated money, like say $400 million of donations, say. So there's three problems with that law right there.
Yep.
Right? Millett said the defendants breeze past the executive residence at the White House qualifier and make no argument at all. Not one word that the East Wing is part of the executive residence at the White House. The phrase executive residence at the White House would be a very strange way to refer to the entire White House. Instead, it is most naturally read to refer only to the central part of the White House, which is where the president's family live, as you said, Dave.
But maybe Natalie Harp's sleeping out there.
Maybe she'll sleep anywhere, don't worry. Millett also said, Congress is extremely unlikely to have written a statute that says, in the same breath, that the president may maintain the executive residence at the White House, replace its light fixtures, fix the air conditioning, and demolish and replace the entire structure with whatever new structure he prefers. One of those things is not like the others, she says. But wait, Dave, there's another statute.
Okay.
It's section 100-101, which says the National Park Service shall promote and regulate the use of the national park system by means and measures which purpose is to conserve the scenery, natural and historic objects and wildlife in the system units and to provide for the enjoyment of the scenery, natural and historic objects and wildlife in such manner and by such means as will leave them unimpaired for the enjoyment of future generations. So under that law, you can use donations. It doesn't have to be appropriations. But is conserving the scenery, natural and historic objects and wildlife, leaving them unimpaired for the enjoyment of future generations, knocking down an entire building and rebuilding it? I don't think it is.
No.
I'd argue that that's a statute for the other side, not for Trump's side.
Well, no, let's think about how we could salvage this.
Yes.
What if you have an aviary inside the ballroom?
Yes, there'll be wildlife in there. The wildlife may not be conserved when the bulldozer runs through it. But other than that, maybe. I don't know, Dave. You might have missed your calling as a lawyer. I don't think they're running with that argument, though. Bottom line, these laws aren't nearly clear enough to be seen as delegating the authority
No,
to conduct
they really aren't.
such a big renovation.
Yeah.
Millett said, Congress does not hide elephants in mouse holes. She's quoting Scalia there.
But if you put an elephant in the ballroom...
then you're conserving wildlife.
Yeah.
If Congress, acting against the backdrop of other statutes that strictly limit construction within park system units in the District of Columbia and which require the government to jump through significant procedural hoops to accept even donations of furniture at the White House, wanted to convey to the president unchecked construction authority over the White House, we'd expect it to do so with language saying just that. And by the way, there is another statute they didn't mention, which is section 8106 that says a building of structure shall not be erected on any reservation park or public grounds of the federal government in the District of Columbia without expressed authority of Congress. That's a pretty interesting statute.
Yeah. That's another one of those quite black and white sounding ones.
Yes. So that's their main
There's a
argument.
lot of no in that one.
There is.
Yeah.
But they have other arguments.
Okay.
Next argument. It's too late. This is too far along. I'm sorry. You just took too long. Trump has been rushing the construction as fast as he possibly can so he can pressure the courts into giving in because it's already done. Classic Trump lawlessness.
Well, that's also just classic real estate shit, right?
Yes, yes.
Oh, no, look, we didn't get a development application, but we've already built the thing.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
What, make it tear it down?
They just might, mate. A 250-person crew has been working 20 hours a day, 7 days a
Yes.
week to get this thing built. And according to Solicitor General John Sauer, it's 65% done and is past the point where major changes to design are feasible. Then again, that Doris Miller is in exactly the same state. And it's not
Yeah.
stopping you fucking around with that, is it? Anyway.
I'm sure this construction is really high quality too.
I'm sure it is.
Like, I'm sure the whole thing isn't going to fall apart the first time someone sits on the toilet.
The Principal Deputy Assistant Attorney General Yakov Roth said it would be an abuse of discretion to affirm the injunction while the Ballroom project's so far along. So Millett asked him, when does it become impossible for courts to stop this project? He said, I think it would be improper to enjoin it even on day one. Millett said, even if this were complete lawlessness by the government, the project couldn't be stopped. He said, I think that's right, unless Congress passes a law against it, which obviously Trump can veto that law.
Yes.
Millett said, if the government decides very quickly to bulldoze the Statue of Liberty, but the government moved too fast, nothing can be done? Roth, yeah, I think that's right. He says that in court. That's their position. So that's the next argument. What do you think about the argument? Do you like that argument?
So, Lady Liberty, don't even think about going woke because you're not special, okay?
You're next.
Yeah.
They've got a third argument, though, Dave.
Okay.
This third argument is that it's really, really important.
Yes.
You can ignore the law if it's really, really important.
Keep hearing this one. This ballroom is really, really important.
It's not a ballroom. Now, according to his representatives in court, it's an integrated military complex, which includes a totally secure ballroom space. That's what it is. And it's vitally required by national security. And Trump tweeted out confirmation of this new status. Have a look right here. 2 Obama and Biden appellate court judges just voted against the desperately needed military center required for the national security of Washington, D.C. and our country itself, he said. It's a military center, Dave.
Yeah.
It's not a ballroom. At least they had the ballroom space bit in the court. He's not even saying that. He's not even mentioning ballrooms anymore.
No.
Even though he's been bragging about ballrooms for 12 straight months. We're meant to forget that.
And also, when he talks about the real pressing need, it's always in terms of it was embarrassing that people from other countries had to be served dinner in a tent. Like, that is his big thing.
It's about time they got served in a military center.
That's right. That's right.
That's vile for national security. He actually went on. He kept on going.
Yeah.
The military and secret service are viewing this horrendous, politically motivated, unlawful ruling as a national security threat to our nation, in that the entire complex is being built for the protection of our country and additionally all future presidents. The single integrated project includes bomb shelters, state-of-the-art hospital and medical facilities, protective partitioning, top secret military facilities, structures and equipment, protective missile-resistant steel, columns, roofs and beams, drone-proof ceilings and roofs, military-grade venting. Yeah, that's military-grade venting.
By the way, for those of you who can't see this, Natalie was going like one capital per word.
Mate.
Just, yeah, every single one. Capital, capital.
Natalie earned her pay on this one, let me tell you. She earned her staring time. Bullet, ballistic and blast-proof glass. It's all tied together as one big, expensive and very complex unit which is vital for national security and military operations in the United States of America. So now it's got everything except a ballroom. It's just everything. My favourite bit, though, is the way it ends with, why didn't they bring this case long prior to construction starting? It's because you knocked the building down without telling anyone, you colossal prick. Now, some cynics would suggest that the Trump administration was trying to exploit the deference courts tend to show to the president on national security
That's
matters.
right. Yes.
Certainly it seems like that's what's going on when he
Yes.
says gaslighty things like this.
The people that are opposing the ballroom are people that, in my opinion, are very disloyal to our country, very, very disloyal to our country.
He does have evidence, though.
Yeah?
He has evidence that's a military centre.
Uh-huh.
The evidence is
Yep.
the testimony of a couple of flunkies that he appointed to security positions.
Yep.
They say the ballroom is vital for
Okay.
national security. Like, for instance, Director of National Intelligence, Jay Clayton, who has no relevant experience or expertise whatsoever and has held his job for 3 weeks. He says it's vital for national security. What the judges asked, though, and didn't get an answer for, is if it's so vital for national security, why didn't you bother to seek congressional authorization? Don't they care about security?
That sounds like something that Congress might have authorized.
Yeah.
That a Republican majority Congress in both houses might have authorized.
Yeah. Well, according to Millett, in their telling, the policy goals of having a ballroom are so imperative that construction must continue regardless of all legality. Although, to be fair, Trump did apparently consult with one person.
Natalie Harp.
No, Natalie Harp knows who it was, but
Yep.
it wasn't her.
Yeah.
It was George Washington. Thank you, George, for some of your brilliant ideas on this great military complex / ballroom, he says while speaking to an AI George Washington. What is going on?
You can make sure that you get a picture that shows very clearly that Trump is taller than George Washington.
To be fair, he probably
He is definitely taller than George Washington.
Yes. Anyway, so what do you reckon, Dave? Do you reckon that they've got a shot?
Not this court.
Yes. Do you reckon the Supreme Court's going to respect any of those arguments?
2 justices are definitely going to respect those arguments.
That is true.
No matter what.
That is true.
Rest of the court, I'm not so sure. I mean, John Roberts, he's a big fan of executive power.
He is.
A big fan of executive power. Gorsuch and Kavanaugh both tend to go with Trump most of the time. Amy Coney Barrett seems a lot more independent-minded, but I don't know where she stands on the issue of ballroom. So I would say definitely not a slam dunk either way.
I've got some good news for the justices who are a little bit on the fence.
Yeah.
Don't need to worry.
Okay.
There's one more argument for them. And this is the one they're going to take.
Okay.
I'm making the prediction right now.
Okay.
Trump is going to win this case, and it's going to be for what I'm about to talk about.
Okay.
And this is going to the Supreme Court. The court has paused its ruling to give Trump administration time to seek emergency relief, which he has. I'm sure the Supreme Court will take him up on this. And honestly, to not be a smart ass here, I actually think this is an arguable case.
Okay.
Which I'm about to put to you.
Okay. Justice Licciardello.
But it's none of the ones that we've heard so far.
Right.
What Naomi Rao talked a lot about was standing.
Okay.
And this is where I think is the much more challenging argument.
Right.
Which is what I've said the whole time. Standing, for those who don't remember, is the idea that to sue someone, you need to have some skin in the game. You need to be personally harmed by what they're doing in order to be able to sue them. Mm-hmm. It's not always a simple question. Standing can be especially complicated on environmental questions, which is what this is.
Yep.
In Lewin versus the Defenders of Wildlife, 1992, the Supreme Court held that the desire to use or observe an animal species, even for purely aesthetic purposes, is undeniably a cognizable interest that can be asserted in federal court.
Okay.
So you don't need to be harmed by the disappearance of a cougar. Just saying, I like to see the cougar is good enough.
Right.
And the National Trust is basically applying that principle to architecture in this case.
Yep.
So another precedent, Friends of the Earth versus Laidlaw Environmental Services, 2000, said that environmental plaintiffs adequately allege injury, in fact, when they aver that they use the affected area and are persons for whom the aesthetic and recreational values of the area will be lessened by the challenged activity.
Okay.
So if you can show you'll visit the site at issue and the planned alterations to the site will reduce your aesthetic enjoyment, that should be enough to have standing. That doesn't mean you get your way.
Yep.
It just means you get into court.
Right.
And then if they break the law, then you can be heard to argue that they've broken the law.
Yep.
Otherwise, you don't even get in the door. Now, in this case, the plaintiff is National Park Service. One of their members is a professor of architectural history, Alison Hoagland, who said she travels to the White House neighborhood frequently and she regularly views the White House, and she believes that Trump's proposed ballroom would render the White House less attractive because it would diminish the primacy of the White House, because no longer would the eye be drawn to the jewel of the building at the center, because the ballroom will be bigger.
Yeah, I remember this.
Yeah.
Yes.
And since an organisation can sue on behalf of their members, the National Park Service says they have standing through her. Okay, so that's the logical justification for standing. Now, Naomi Rao said that's not good enough. I'm now going to quote her.
Okay.
She says, looking at Hoagland's actual statements, she's failed to demonstrate an imminent and particularised injury in fact. In her declaration, she does not state any concrete plans to use and enjoy President's Park. Hoagland instead claims that she expects to travel to the area around the White House about once a month to attend functions in neighbouring buildings. Her assertions about future use of President's Park are tenuous at best and do not satisfy the trust burden at the preliminary injunction stage to make a clear showing of imminent aesthetic injury to a member. If Hoagland's aesthetic injury is instead incidentally viewing a ballroom she finds displeasing, her harm is imminent but not particularised. Her declaration merely states that at about once a month she'll walk by the White House on her way to other buildings. On these walks she anticipates being impressed with the White House but displeased with the planned ballroom. Since Hoagland's objection to the appearance of the ballroom could be made by anyone planning to travel by the White House, it constitutes nothing more than a generalised grievance insufficient for Article 3 standing. You got any thoughts on that?
I'm just trying to think of whether the brush turkey has standing against you.
Because I displease his vision.
You definitely displease the brush turkey's
I think the brush turkey definitely has a case against me.
Yeah.
And I clearly was befouling its environment.
Yes.
So the brush turkey's in court. Whether Hoagland is in court is a different question.
Yeah.
How the Supreme Court's going to take that, well, we don't know. They could overturn the entire line of standing, this entire line.
Yep.
In which case that would destroy basically every environmental lawsuit.
Yep.
So they could take this opportunity to take a swing at a whole bunch of environmental lawsuits. They could say, yeah, it applies to animals, it applies to hills and oceans, but it doesn't apply to buildings. They could draw a line at architecture.
Yep.
They could say, yeah, it does apply to architecture, but this particular plaintiff in this particular case can't show that Trump's ballroom will make everything worse. Or they might just say she has standing. Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll see. It's hard to predict, but it seems to me really easy for them to come with an excuse.
Yep.
And I think they'll take that excuse.
I think they probably will.
And to be honest, if I was in their position, I'd have to look at the exact details of her testimony. I could conceivably see me also saying you don't have standing.
Yep.
But I'm not 100% sure. I mean, it's clearly against the law what Trump's doing, but does this person have standing to challenge them?
Yep.
I think Amy Coney Barrett is the world's biggest stickler for standing. I would be astonished if she doesn't rule against them.
Right.
Like, she's such a pedant for standing.
Yeah.
Anyway, but we'll see. We'll see. Now, I don't know if you've got any other thoughts on any of that?
Not any other thoughts on the ballroom.
Okay. Well, the other construction stuff I'd like to just mention quickly.
Yes.
The upgrades are adding up, Dave. $423 million have been diverted to the White House and National Mall upgrades, which is larger than the combined funding this year for 9 national parks, including Yellowstone, Yosemite, and the Grand Canyon. And the reason why I compare it to those 9 national parks is because they're the funds that the money is coming out of.
Wow.
It's not just them, it's also coming out of the Secret Service, and it's coming out of military budgets and all these other budgets as well. But those parks have a $30 billion backlog of deferred maintenance because they're using that shit in Washington. Also, the National Park Service has lost nearly 2,000 employees between May 2025 and May 2026 due to attrition, DOGE reductions and other trims, and they're not replacing them because they're using that money for this.
Yeah. And Grand Canyon. I've been to Grand Canyon before. It's one of the most magnificent things you can possibly see.
More than a military centre?
There is no photo that can quite capture the majesty of Grand Canyon. Now, that maintenance, I imagine part of what it is spent on is the paths up and down Grand Canyon. It's not being spent on guardrails because there are none, famously, because that would interfere with it.
That's just how Trump likes it. No guardrails.
But maintaining those paths is pretty important.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people will die
Well,
if you don't maintain those paths.
They're $30 billion down. And they're not finished.
Yeah.
The administration plans to spend at least $900 million for construction projects on the White House grounds, according to the Washington Post. They've looked at their accounts. $500 million of that came from the Secret Service and the military office, like I said. $415 million of that came from a training fund for Secret Service agents. So what could go wrong there? So there's that as well. Also, I've got an update for you on the Kennedy Center.
Ah, yes.
The board members are at it again.
Oh, dear.
During a board meeting, they took a vote that was not included on the agenda that was distributed before the meeting. It was a surprise resolution that now the front of the center will read, the John F. Kennedy Memorial Center for the Performing Arts, restored and renovated by President Donald Trump. And while they're raising money for the John F. Kennedy Memorial Center, when that reaches $100 million in donations, there'll be a proposed sign going up saying endowed by the Trump Kennedy Center Fund. So there's two mentions of Trump.
What this reminds me of is the big college football bowl games, these end of year spectaculars, some of which go back like 100 years or more. They started to get very commercialized around the 90s, and so all of their traditional names started getting messed with.
Yeah.
So like the Fiesta Bowl became the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl.
Yes.
For example. And I think that the one that really held out, like, well, no, we will not have this kind of commercialization, was the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
Right. Because, they didn't like the Capital One Orange Bowl or whatever. They're like, no, this.
Not the 1-300 Smiles Rose Bowl. That's just my favourite stadium name of all time.
Yeah, we're allowed to say it now because that's no longer the name of the stadium. But eventually what happened was it became the Rose Bowl presented by Citibank.
Oh, okay.
This is basically what they've done.
That's what they've done.
Yeah.
Obviously, remember the law says no additional memorials or plaques in the nature of memorials shall be designated or installed in the public areas.
Yes.
Yeah, they're going to get sued again and they're going to lose again. But they already have a backup plan.
What's that?
In the same meeting, they also decided that they're going to name the grounds of the JFK Memorial Center the President Donald J. Trump Plaza. So maybe they'll get away with that. I don't know. Until the next board in 2 years' time changes, obviously. He never gives up. He never gives up. I got a theory about him that he has an idea. He has a little brain fart. And he goes, oh, that'd be nice if that's named after me.
Yeah.
And then after like the first time he thinks of it, from that point on,
Yes.
it's not about the initial idea at all. It's just about winning.
Yeah.
As soon as someone says no, he goes, right, here we go.
Yep.
And he's never going to give up because for him it becomes a dominance ritual that you can't say no to me. I'm going to keep on going. I don't care how long. I don't care how many lawsuits. I don't care how much it costs.
Yeah.
I don't care how impractical. I must win for the sake of winning.
Yes.
And it's just so annoying because the reason I hate this is because it makes everyone else have to be just as petty to stop him.
Yeah.
And people end up becoming way more petty than they want to be or they should be. Like if you take, say, there's every chance that the first year of the next president is going to be taken up with undoing everything that Trump has done, which is so petty, and I so don't want them to waste time doing that. But that is what this mentality pushes people into. They genuinely may end up tearing down the East Wing again.
Yeah.
Because they just don't want to give it to him.
Yeah.
And that'd be a waste of billions of dollars. It would be such a massive nuisance and just so immature and so petty. But I totally understand the impulse because he is diminishing everyone to operate on that level. It's just infuriating.
Tear it down and salt the earth.
Oh, God. Anyway, Dave, talk to us about the primaries.
Okay, so there were more primaries this week.
There were.
The most significant ones were in Florida. Now, Florida gets a lot of shit from the rest of the country, right? Florida is the national butt of jokes in all kinds of ways. But something that you cannot take away from them is they run their elections extremely well.
Oh, do they ever?
Yeah, the vote count always comes in within about 3 hours of the polls closing, sometimes sooner. They are just exemplary to the rest of the country. If the whole country's elections were run as well as Florida's, you would never have had a 2020.
And the reason for that is because they used to be so shit.
Exactly.
Because 2020 was Florida in 2000.
Yes.
And so then they overhauled everything. That just for once, Americans learned from their mistakes.
know!
And they overhauled everything and they just got right.
It's a great example of someone learning from something. And
Yes.
there's bipartisan consensus around we actually need to do elections properly because they're important.
Yes.
Anyway, so it was very pleasant to see these results come in just so quickly and reliably. Anyway, so on...
Oh, by the way, they do mail-in voting too.
They do mail-in
They
voting.
do all the things that the other
Yes.
states do, but they do it right.
Yes.
Okay, anyway, go on.
Yeah, Trump mailed his primary in. Okay. On the Republican side of the ledger, Byron Donalds is going to be the Republican nominee for governor, and I would say he's almost certainly going to win.
Oh, yeah, he's
So
going to
you might know that. So Byron Donalds has been this rising star in the Republican Party for a number of years. African American, major supporter of Trump. I think it can't hurt that his surname is Donald pluralized, Donalds. So, Ron DeSantis didn't have a kind of heir apparent in this. There was some talk that his wife might run for a while, but yeah, Byron Donalds was the Trump nominee. He won it easily, got more than 50% of the vote. There were some deeply unpleasant people in that field, especially James Fishback. So James Fishback is really like an avatar of that just young male troll, just bottomlessly nasty generation of political operatives. So I mean, he ended up not doing that well in the end.
He got like 10%.
10% of the vote. But he was just followed around up and down the central corridor of the state by this creepy army of young men who were all wearing these jackets that were way too warm for Florida winter, but like that's the whole thing was fishing jackets.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
and anyway, he got attention by repeatedly saying that Byron Donalds would be a DEI hire and a slave to the Republican establishment. Not very subtle stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, but anyway, Byron Donalds will be the nominee.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things about that race was that it was the only race in Florida that was actually polled with any kind of regularity or volume. So there are about 20 surveys done on that one, all of which indicated correctly that Donalds would win. So when the biggest upset of the night happened on the Democratic side, is something technically an upset when there is not a single published poll that suggests that there's going to be a result otherwise?
I guess not.
Okay, what we're talking about is Angie Nixon defeating Alex Vindman
Yes.
for the for the Democratic nomination for the Senate, which is one of these things that sort of in this environment, some Democrats are beginning to dream that it is possible, though I think even the hardiest Democrat would probably conclude that it's quite unlikely. Okay, so what happened in this race? Alex Vindman, you may remember him as one of the kind of Democratic heroes of 2019. He was a whistleblower. It was his whistleblowing that led to Trump's first impeachment. What had motivated him, because this was when Trump asked Zelensky, or tried to lean on Zelensky to open an investigation into Joe Biden.
He's one of the national security guys who heard Trump's conversation
Yep.
with Zelensky.
Yes.
And was alarmed by it.
Yeah, so he was the one, he was the whistleblower who was alarmed by it out of a sincere concern for Ukraine, because he is Ukrainian. You know, he got thrown out as a result. It was a pretty rough period for him, but he sort of gained this hero status. This is the sort of person you might predict would easily win a Democratic primary, but no. The reason why he was favourite was because he raised $16 million.
Yep.
Because he's a nationally known, nationally revered figure. I've got to say, I've got a huge amount of respect for him.
Yep.
So he raised $16 million. Angie Nixon She was sitting on 600,000 with about a week to go.
Which in Florida doesn't get you very far.
Doesn't get you very far at all. And also, Alex Vindman, this wasn't corporate money pouring in. He actually said he wouldn't take. He was doing the Abdul El Sayed line. I won't take money from PACs, from corporations. He just has a lot of admirers. Throughout the country. But Angie Nixon had very little. However, by all accounts, she actually ran a really good campaign. Now, I say by all accounts because I knew nothing about this campaign. Whereas Francesca Hong, Abdul El Sayed, these were, races that got a lot of national attention. This one didn't because
the media only pays attention to swing states.
Yeah, and I mean, and very few people, even in Florida, thought that she had much of a chance. So she's a union organizer from Jacksonville.
Yep.
By all accounts, very, very good at organizing and had a big army of mostly African-American volunteers. She is African-American. So, unlike Francesca Hong and Abdul El Sayed, who ran up the numbers mainly in college towns and state capitals, she did do very well in those places as well. In fact, notably better than Francesca Hong did. But she also did very well in African-American areas, in major cities, in low-income areas, these places where the progressive candidates had struggled. And she's not just progressive, she is DSA.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah.
She also was very prominent during the recent gerrymandering battles.
Yes.
She was basically the head of the resistance to the gerrymandering in Florida. So she got a lot of publicity at that point in time as a fighter against the Trump administration as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
She was also lacking major endorsements from the national left. She had from Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, and I'm blanking on his name, but the guy regarded as the sort of preeminent progressive in Florida. She had those. But she did not have Bernie Sanders. No. Now, okay, we saw last week Bernie Sanders sort of just claiming he knew very little about the Wisconsin race. I haven't been to Wisconsin since 1941 when I was supporting Frank Zelig. But
I love your impression.
But he just genuinely might not have known about this race.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's regarded as such a long shot that Democrats can actually win it at all. Yeah, he literally might not have known about the race. But Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez didn't endorse either, which actually makes me think they're both avoiding DSA candidates.
Probably.
Yes, yeah. However, Sanders did offer his endorsement about 7 hours after she won. She didn't just win, she won massively, 56-44. That is big, especially when you've been outspent 16-1.
Yeah, that is fair.
As I say, though, can this actually be regarded as an upset given the absence of polling? There was one poll done by a legitimate polling company in Florida that found, I had to look hard for this. Yeah, it found Vindman on 34 and Nixon on 22. But they then actually mysteriously withdrew that poll, saying this was a Florida outfit called Change Politics. So I don't know who they are, but it sounds like it's a progressive outfit. They withdrew it, saying that there was an error.
There was, it seems.
It seems there was. But yeah, this was just not very polled. However, there was a poll from the University of North Florida, so respectable outfit, albeit not with a huge sample, that suggested that Nixon would actually poll slightly better against the Republican candidate than Vindman.
And what
would have.
What were those numbers?
Well, Vindman was 10 points out and Nixon would be 8 points out.
Sure.
Yeah. So, look, it's unlikely that she'll win, but that was a pretty significant victory for the left.
Yeah, look, she won fair and square.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be in Florida that the DSA prove their mettle.
Probably not.
But we'll see. We'll see.
No, yeah, well, we'll see.
I just think
see how much further the political environment deteriorates.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, I just think that Florida is just uniquely suited to not be conducive to their politics. Like, you've
Probably
got
not.
loads of old people.
Yes. Yep.
Old people are not going to be picking up what they're putting down.
Yeah. You've got a lot of Cubans.
I was about to say,
probably
I gotta
are
say,
not voting.
I'm betting, I don't know for a fact, but I'm betting Nixon is a lot
Yeah.
more sympathetic towards the Castro regime
Yeah.
than most of Florida is.
Yes.
I'm betting that Nixon is a lot less sympathetic to Israel than most of Florida is. Of all
yeah.
the states.
That's,
That's
that is another good point.
yeah, it's yeah. Look, I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying that if Nixon wins Florida, El Sayed is winning by 15 points. That's all I'm saying.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, some other news from Florida. Debbie Wasserman Schultz managed to win again.
She's so terrible.
So she's not going anywhere.
And just to be clear,
Yes.
the reason why I just went, ugh,
Yeah.
and Dave had that tone, is because Florida's just been gerrymandered, right?
Yep.
After the Supreme Court, which basically allowed Republicans to get rid of majority minority districts in their states.
Yep.
Florida said, thank you very much, and got rid of a whole bunch of them. And so there's a whole bunch of current black representatives who are about to get drummed out of
Yes.
the House. And Debbie Wasserman Schultz was the district she's running in was pretty much one of the very, very few, if not the only, safe district that black people could
Yes.
potentially win in.
Yeah.
And there were like 4 of them or 5 of them. There were a large number of them competing against each other. And she just came right in and just took that seat for herself,
Yep.
which tells you how much she cares about diversity.
That's right. And Corey Mills lost.
Oh, so great.
Yes. So Corey Mills is facing a lot of ethics investigations.
Yes.
He's actually under investigation by the Department of Justice.
Yeah.
Do you know how bad you need to be as a sitting Republican member of Congress with a Trump endorsement to get investigated by the Department of Justice?
I don't know if you guys remember. I talked about him at length. Would have been the beginning of last year, Lockie, yeah?
Yeah.
About how he got caught.
Is this the guy who told his girlfriend or partner,
No, girlfriend.
girlfriend,
Yes.
on like video or audio? He was recorded telling his
On
girlfriend,
the phone, on speakerphone,
recorded telling her
to lie
to lie that
about the domestic violence.
those bruises that you
Yes.
have were just from
A holiday.
yeah.
Yes.
This
that's
is
right.
that guy?
That's right, yes. He was cheating on his partner.
Uh-huh.
In fact, I think, I might be wrong, my memory might just be deceiving me. This girl might have been someone he was cheating on, the woman he was cheating on his partner with. I think this was like a second grade cheating. Right? And I think so. I might be wrong on that, but I think that was the case. But the important thing is not the cheating. I mean, there was definitely cheating happening. But the important thing was that he had bruised her arm. She'd called the police. The
Yeah.
police turned up. And he called her while she's in the middle of her report. And the police heard her, and it's on video. It's on the police's body cam.
Yeah.
Him saying to her, tell them that you got those bruises from our holiday. And then that's what she said.
Yeah.
And he got away with it. So I could not be more delighted to see the back of him.
Yep. And he still had a Trump endorsement, but Trump just didn't talk about it anymore.
He's Trump's mate. So,
Yes.
so Trump, back in February, said, yeah, he's my boy.
Yeah.
And then never mentioned it again.
Yeah.
Now he's saying that he told him privately he shouldn't run. And you know what? People don't believe Trump. I actually believe him. I actually believe that Trump.
Yeah, I can believe that.
I believe that Trump probably I'm sure he did it in a wussy way.
Yeah.
But I believe Trump was going, I don't know, Corey. I don't know. It's not looking good. Not looking good, Corey.
Yeah.
And Corey would have gone, no, I've got it, mate. I've got it. And he, okay, all right. That would have been the extent of him telling him not to run. But whatever, I'm glad he's gone.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And he got beaten by an ex TV news guy.
Yes.
Yeah. For Fox in Orlando.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it for Florida for me, but you've got more.
You're not going to mention the worst race in the world?
What was that?
Florida 6, Randy Fine versus
Oh!
Dan Bilzerian. Like Randy Fine is
The worst.
just the worst.
Yes.
He's let me go through some of his greatest hits.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of his tweets. He's talking about Muslims here. If they force us to choose, the choice between dogs and Muslims is not a difficult one. That's one of them. Another one, in response to a news story about 15 Gazans reportedly dying of starvation, he writes, release the hostages. Until then, starve away. Now, he did go on to say he didn't believe the story, but I don't care.
Yeah.
And he also wrote, Palestinian is a synonym for evil. That's another one of his tweets. And worst of all, now, I don't often say this. When I say this, pay attention. Content warning. How often do I say content warning before
Might be the first time.
Yeah. So content warning for people who get squeamish. I'm about to show you something that will make you squeamish.
The last time we issued a content warning, it was when we were talking about the fly.
Well, this is more content warning than that.
Yeah.
It was a picture going around of a dead kid in Gaza. Oh, yeah, and the caption in the photo said, how do you sleep at night? And Randy Fine responded with, quite well, actually. Thanks for the pic. So now, and that by the way, that wasn't even 2 years ago or last year.
No.
When passions were raised after October 7. It wasn't one of those.
No, that was 5 years ago.
That was 5 years ago. That's when most people didn't have their passions raised.
Yes.
That's just Randy Fine being Randy Fine. Sees picture of dead baby, goes, hilarious. Time for a dunk.
Yeah.
Like he's an awful person. Even Ron DeSantis said that he repels people.
Yeah.
Randy Fine. And Ron DeSantis is not Mr. Charisma, let me tell you. So he's not great.
No.
But the guy he was running against made him look great.
Yeah.
The guy who was running against, Dan Bilzerian, is an ex-poker player. Actually, no, he doesn't make him look great. They're both just shit.
Yeah.
He claims to be dating 50 people at the same time. And he's a genuine, you know how sometimes you talk about anti-Semitism?
Yes, yeah.
And people go, no, it's not anti-Semitism. This is just, this is a problem with Israel's actions.
Yes.
And I say that myself.
Yes,
That's
yeah,
often
yeah.
the case. This dude,
Yeah.
anti-Semite.
Right, okay.
This guy
Yes.
is full-on Jew hater. Full on. He's an open Holocaust denier, or at least minimizer. He believes that the Jews killed JFK. That's a phrase he's used. The Jews killed JFK. He says, quote, most of the problems today are caused by Jewish supremacy. He routinely, all during the campaign, referred to Randy Fine as, quote, a fat Jew. That's how he refers to him as. He made this ad.
Did he actually want to win, or for him was this just an opportunity to say a lot of anti-Semitic stuff in public?
He got 19%. He made this ad here where he snuck in the idea of why not have a second Holocaust?
Jewish supremacist, Satan's creepy little minions. Should we revisit that Austrian painter's opinions? Why does stop raping kids sound so contrarian? Our society's lost. We need Dan Bilzerian.
Okay, so you get the idea.
My God.
That's where we're at. Now, it's tempting sometimes, I think, for
Yes.
people who are very passionately pro-Palestinian and concerned about what's going on in Gaza to see someone like Dan Bilzerian, who very aggressively advocates for the cause of Palestinians and go, well, he's on our side. He's not on your side.
No.
He's advocating for Palestinians because he just really hates Jews.
Yes.
That's what's going on with that guy. And to give you an example of how bad this race was, just how depressing it was, at one point in time, Bilzerian said, when I unseat him, Randy Fine, I'm going to draft laws to have anyone putting Israel before America tried for treason. And then Randy Fine responded to that with, we don't want Armenians to be able to serve in Congress because Dan Bilzerian's Armenian. So that's where we're at with those two. And Randy Fine ended up winning comfortably against Dan Bilzerian because he only got 19% of the vote. But that was the worst race.
That's your response?
That's the worst race.
We don't want Armenians?
Yes, that's his response. We don't want Armenians. Like, these guys have never found another nationality that they can't hate. it's just between the two of them. They divide up the world into all the different nationalities that they can hate on.
Yeah.
And it's just, there's a place in hell for the two of them to compete against each other for all the time.
Oh, yeah. Hell primaries.
But anyway, so that's the other race that we should mention.
Yeah.
I'm going to be talking to Melina about a bunch of midterm stuff as well, but I'll just erase through a couple of things here. In terms of polling,
yes,
there's a bunch of interesting polls here just generally for the midterms. Gas prices approval. This is a Harry Enton clip we're about to play.
Okay.
79% of Americans, including 52% of Republicans, feel negatively about how Trump's handled gas prices. 52% Republicans. And this is what Enton has to say about that.
Highest disapproval ratings on gas prices. Erica Hill said it best. Wow. Look at this. 79% in an average of polls. That is the highest disapproval rating for any president on record. Joe Biden wasn't liked on gas prices, but he only reached 72%. Barack Obama wasn't well liked back in 2011, but he only reached 68%. Even George W. Bush back in 2006, he reached 75%. I remember the gas prices being quite high back then, but he only reached 75%. Donald Trump takes the cake as these $4 plus gas prices continue to give us pain at the pump.
Congratulations, you're number one. I got a great graph from Platypus Economics about this kind of stuff. 71% of Americans say they expect prices to rise faster than their income. 71%. Only 8% say their income will raise faster than prices. And for those who are looking at it, you can see how rapidly those two lines are diverging from each other. Really fast. And that goes back to 1980.
Yeah.
Like it goes back to the Carter administration. So and it's a massive record, like a massive record by more than 10%. Being negative on that question.
Yeah.
That's from Michigan, the Michigan University there. And another one, Reuters had some interesting data on issues polling. The Democrats are ahead on which side will do a better job handling war, foreign conflicts, and terrorism. They're ahead 37 to 36.
That is very unusual.
That is very unusual. It's a 12-point swing away from Republicans since the beginning of the term.
When was the last time that Democrats were ahead on that?
Maybe 2006.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm guessing the Bush administration again.
Yeah, maybe.
Yes.
When asked which party had the better approach on immigration policy, Reuters had Republicans on 40 and Dems on 38. So not quite taking over, but pretty close.
Yeah, that is very close, given that this is supposed to be by far the strongest issue for Republicans.
At the beginning of the term, Republicans were ahead by 26 points.
Yeah.
And now they're ahead by 2. On who they prefer as stewards of the economy, 38% say Democrats, 35% say Republicans. That's the first time the Democrats have been ahead in a decade.
Yep.
So you might hear those three numbers and go, well, they're all very close. Yeah, but they're Republicans' three
That's
strong
right.
points.
Yes. Yeah.
If they don't have the economy, national security, and immigration, they got nothing.
No.
So that's a big poll.
Yeah.
Also interesting, state polling in Fox News far exceeds party polling. So every time you hear people talk about, the Democrats are unpopular, listen to these numbers. In Ohio, Sherrod Brown's ahead 53 to 45, 8 points.
Yes.
Democratic approval, 42%.
Yep.
In Texas, Tallarico's ahead 51 to 48. Democratic approval, 45 to 54. Maine, Jackson's ahead 48 to 46. Democratic approval, 44 to 54. North Carolina, Cooper's ahead 53 to 44, 9-point lead. Democratic approval, 43 to 56, down by 13. Iowa, Josh Turek is ahead 50 to 46. They don't have a Democratic poll there. And then Michigan, the only negative poll from Fox News was El Sayed 47 to 51, 4 points down.
Yep.
But the Democrats are down by 15.
Yeah.
So the Democrats' name is still in the mud.
Yeah.
But the individual candidates can get away from that.
Yes.
Which is really interesting. I'll talk briefly about Alaska.
Okay, yes.
They had their primary just now.
Yes.
Remember in their primary, that's like a jungle primary. They all go against each other. Top 4 go through to a ranked choice in November. The top four were Patola on 48.1% of the vote.
This is Mary Patola, the Democrat.
That's right.
Yes.
Dan Sullivan, the Republican.
Which Dan Sullivan?
Exactly, on 42.7% of the vote. That's the current one. The other Dan Sullivan's third on 2.4% of the vote. And David Leslie, who's another Democrat, is 1.1% of the vote. So 2 Dan Sullivans are going through. What that means, though, is that the double Dan Sullivan doesn't matter. Because if people vote for one, if they get wrong, and they vote for the other one next on preference,
Yeah.
the one who's got the most votes is going to get all the votes. Because that's how ranked choice works.
Yeah.
So that's good.
But what if they go nuts and put wrong Dan first, Patola second?
If everyone puts wrong Dan first, then then the real Dan's got a problem.
But it wouldn't necessarily need to be I mean, you got 2% of the vote.
Yeah.
That could make the difference. What if 2% of people put wrong Dan first and go, but thinking that he's right Dan, and then put right Dan last, thinking that they're punishing wrong Dan?
Okay. If they put right Dan last accidentally or thinking he's the wrong Dan, then put him last below Mary Patola would be bad news for Dan Sullivan.
Yeah.
But unless they put him below Mary Patola, all votes are flowing through to
So he's actually going to have to say in his campaign,
vote for a Dan Sullivan.
vote for 8. 1, 2.
Right.
Dan Sullivan's.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this could be. I mean, the draw of the ballot order is going to be potentially important in this
Could
race.
be. But I mean, they can clearly tell one from the other because it's 42% to 2%.
Yeah.
So clearly voters know the difference. They do have their middle initial there. I'm sure the ads have the middle initials.
Right.
But anyway, my point is you add up those 2 Dan Sullivans, you get 45%.
Yeah.
You add up Mary Patola and the other Democrat, you get 49.2%. That primary is suggesting that she's going to piss it in.
Yeah,
at least
it
at this
does.
point in time.
Yeah. And I mean, remembering she has been the representative of Alaska before.
Well, here's the thing. People say Alaska hasn't voted for a Democrat for president since 1964, and that's true.
Yeah.
But they have voted for Democratic senators.
Yeah.
And they have voted for Democratic House reps, and one of them was Mary Patola.
Yes.
In 2022. And the only reason she lost in 2024 was because they had Kamala Harris on the ballot, and Kamala Harris lost by 13 points.
Yeah.
And Mary Patola only lost by 3.
Yeah.
She was 10 points above the standard.
Yes.
So so she's a strong candidate.
Yeah, she really is.
Her slogan, if you recall, do you remember what her slogan is? I think
Something like "Don't sell Alaska" or something.
No. I might not have said it around you. I might have said it around Lockie. Fish, family, and freedom.
Oh, that's nice.
That's her slogan. But fish represents a lot. It's doing a lot of work because it represents corporate spending. It represents Alaska first, and it represents affordability. Let me quote her.
Yes.
As someone who grew up salmon fishing on the Kuskokwim River with my father, I know firsthand that fish is more than food. It's central to Alaskans' way of life. That's why I'll fight tooth and nail to restore our fisheries to abundance. And that means doing whatever it takes to ban factory trawling and reduce bycatch, deliver relief for Alaskan fishermen and communities that are suffering the fallout of fishery collapse, and save our fish. I'll stand up to anyone, including the factory trawling lobby and lower 48 special interests, to fix the rig system in DC and put Alaska first. So there you go. It's all about fish.
That's great.
She's got plans for fishery disaster funding, which keep fisheries stable after a disaster. A fish byproduct economy, so you use fish waste products for, I don't know, things.
Yes.
Pet food, maybe.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fertilizer.
Omega-3 capsules, whatever, new monitoring technology to stop bycatch, which is extra unwanted fish being caught in trawling nets, which she sees as a special interest issue, by the way.
Yeah.
Sullivan has received nearly, I guess this is a lot of money in Alaska, $280,000 from the trawling industry. But
how much did Wrong Dan get from that?
the trawling industry? I don't know. One of his largest contributors is Trident Seafoods, who are fined $2.5 million for Clean Water Act violations, and Mary Patola's making sure everyone knows about that. And she's also called for 12-year term limits on members of Congress, which I think is a terrible idea, but she doesn't. And it's a very good populist idea that people love, even though I hate it. And overturning Citizens United, and which I think is irrelevant. I've said that many times. And banning lawmakers from trading stocks. I agree with you on that one. But anyway, it's an interesting campaign and she's doing well.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Good.
South Carolina, we should mention.
Just
Also,
on the stock trading
go.
thing, the New York Times has been publishing biggest stock traders in Congress.
Yep.
And, you know, it's one of these kinds of distributions you often see where, like, number one is just way out there in front of everyone else. And it's Ro Khanna.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Like we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars. Now he says, can you just fact check that that's Ro Khanna?
I'm sure you're right.
He says that he and his family don't have anything to do with it, but they've got just vast amounts in the stock market. And
this is what they always say. And I'm not saying he's corrupt. I'm saying that the problem is it's that that makes people suspect that you're corrupt.
Yes.
And that's the problem. You're
yeah.
seen to be virtuous, not just that you are virtuous.
Yeah, and Ro Khanna is also one of the more prominent progressive members of the Democratic caucus. I don't think he's a presidential candidate anytime soon, but he is.
I think he's running.
You reckon he is?
Yeah. Oh, he's going to occupy the Swalwell position of the next. The next. I don't mean it's sexual harassment. I mean Swalwell was out after about 2 weeks.
Yeah, he's got Swalwell written all over him.
Yeah. Or Steve Bullock.
Yes, Lockie's giving me the thumbs up on that.
Yeah.
And Nancy Pelosi was number two.
No, we know that.
Yep.
Yeah. Trump.
Yes.
Has now endorsed. Well, he's endorsed 10 candidates that have lost.
Yes.
In this cycle.
Yeah.
Which is almost a record. He did 11 in 2022.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That was, but 10 matches 2018, 20, and 24 combined, I think.
Yeah. Now, of course, still he's had hundreds of wins.
Yeah. Well,
but still.
Yeah, but the hundreds of wins are just people who. Red state Republicans.
Yes, yeah.
But it might be lucky 11.
Okay.
With Darlene Graham coming up.
Yes.
Yeah, we should play this clip and we should.
Well, let's play this clip.
And we should say what we think about it.
Yes.
Senator, are Taiwan and the South China Sea national security issues for the United States? If so, why?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
Are Taiwan and the South China Sea national security issues for the United States, and if so, why or how?
I'm just going to be honest here. I'm not on national security. I'm not that informed on national security, but I do support the military. My brother was in the Air Force for 33 years, so I will do everything I can to support the military. My dad was in the Army. I'm not a polished politician up here. National security is not my thing, not my area of expertise, but I do support the military.
I'm glad she distinguished herself from all those Republicans who don't support the military. So what's your thoughts, Dave?
To be fair, her brother wasn't that well informed on national security either.
He thought he was.
But national security was his thing. Her brother came up with some of the most disastrous ideas that have ever been put into practice in national security. Yeah. Much better that she was actually aware of her own ignorance.
So that you don't have a big problem with that? Because a lot of people are saying, disqualifying. That's it. She's gone.
Not everybody
I don't have a problem
in the
with it.
Senate is a national security person.
Yeah.
There are a lot of national security people in the Senate, but she's not going to be one of them. Certainly people who serve on committees related to national security and foreign policy, you would hope that they know about it. It is quite unusual for a Southerner from a coastal state not to be interested in national security. Southerners in general have often been very important in foreign policy in the Senate, partly because they stay around for so long and they get a lot of seniority, but also because there are a lot of military bases in that part of the country. And obviously a lot of the people who actually go and fight wars come from that part of the country. So people from southern states are usually very interested in it. So that would be unusual. But I don't actually see it as fatally disqualifying. No.
I agree. I don't see what's wrong with a Senate candidate admitting when they don't know something. They don't know everything. She's only had the job for a month.
Yeah.
Like, I think of all people, she's in a position where she can go, look, I only just got this job.
Yeah.
I want to learn about national security.
Yep.
I certainly intend to learn more about it, but right now I don't know a lot about it. I'm not going to lie to you and bluff you and pretend that I do know something about that question when I don't know the answer to it.
And she might have felt that she would have got tripped up in unfortunate ways, right? So, if she doesn't know about that issue, she doesn't know whether she's walking into a minefield saying, like, yes, Taiwan's a national security issue. I mean, that's pretty much orthodoxy among Republicans in the Senate, but if she doesn't know, better not to say.
Well, can I point out the alternative, which is her competitor, Ralph Norman? Let's see his answer to the same question. This is what he had to say.
Taiwan's a definite ally. And, we have a trading relationship with them that is beneficial to the United States, chips being one of them, and others. So what the president is doing right is he's enabling Taiwan to defend themselves against China. But it's peace through strength that he's showing with Iran that China, Russia, others are looking at it so that they don't want to deal with America, and that's why they haven't attacked Taiwan. If they had some weak Democrat in office like Biden or another Obama, they'd take it over. But we can't let that happen. We got to take a strong peace through strength is working.
Do you see my point? That's just such a garbage answer. He just strung together a whole bunch of just random thoughts that are kind of in the area and just acted like he was answering the question. And just, peace through strength and Taiwan's an ally and chips and
Biden weak. I mean, there's no point in rebutting this, but as I've said many times, Biden actually destroyed the US policy of strategic ambiguity on this and said openly, we will defend Taiwan. Not we will help Taiwan defend itself. We will defend Taiwan.
That's true. But I was just going to say, when I listen to that guy, all I think is he's got no idea at all.
Yeah.
He's no better than Darlene Graham, but at least she can admit that she's got no idea.
Yeah.
Whereas he tries to bluff his way through like he does. And what he said is good enough for most of the political public, but that's because they're morons. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, the phrase peace through strength in Iran.
Yeah, exactly.
Peace.
It's just, anyway.
Yes.
Anyway, so I actually don't have a problem with her saying, I don't understand this particular topic. Much more of a concern for me is that she said South Carolina has 50 million people during that debate.
That is disqualifying.
That's pretty bad. It's got 5 million people, okay?
Yes.
And no one could possibly think that South Carolina has
50 million
as like
people.
A seventh of America's population.
Yeah, California has 55 million.
Yeah. Well, and what that suggests is not just that she's ignorant, but that she's just kind of a bit of an idiot. That's what that suggests.
Yeah.
Right.
See, I was aware of the foreign policy thing. I hadn't heard about the population.
But it gets worse.
Oh dear.
Because then a few days later, this was her new spin.
I tripped up on one question last night regarding Taiwan. But, I've said many times, I'm not a politician, certainly not a career politician. I was just honest, and I think that's kind of a foreign concept. But I talked to several people today. I traveled around the state, and they said, we appreciated the fact that you were honest. And I did say several times that, China is our enemy, our military and economic threat to the United States. Of course, Taiwan is our friend. But I think people in South Carolina are more worried about making ends meet. They're concerned about boys and girls sports. One lady talked to me extensively about that today. They're concerned about the Second Amendment. They're concerned about the Save America Act. illegal immigration. So they're concerned about a lot of other things other than Taiwan.
So, admitting your weak points, I think that's admirable.
Yeah.
Saying, yeah, I was just being honest, great, no problems. But pretending, it's not that they're your weak points, but just that Taiwan doesn't matter. And what matters is, quote, boys playing girls basketball.
Look, I have no doubt that
That's not
some
admirable.
lady talked to her for a long time about that today. I'm sure that did actually happen.
Yeah.
But yes, that doesn't mean that that's an important issue. I also just want to point out she sounds a lot like Bobby from King of the Hill.
Oh, wow, that's a great call.
Yeah.
Well done. Can you give us a stab of that look?
I don't speak politician.
Let go of my purse!
Thanks. Yeah, no, she's lost me with that, I've got to say.
She's lost you.
She's lost me. She's lost me. She's lost me with that. No, not maybe not for good.
You're
but-
not sending any more illegal crypto donations to Darlene Graham.
And I'm sure you're right. I'm sure that some woman did come up to her and say, yeah, no, I think those other things are more important. But
Yeah.
I'd like a senator who knows what's important, even if they know that they don't know about it.
Mm-hmm.
They know that foreign policy in general is quite an important thing for a senator.
Yes.
And so that's what I'd like. And it's just to me that she's got poor judgment, that that she's now backtracking, saying, no, that's not even important.
So what's the polling suggesting in this race?
Well, I think it's another race where there is not a lot of polling.
Okay, yep.
She's ahead in the polling that exists.
Yes.
But, yeah.
Ralph
Okay,
Norman, by the way, clearly spends a lot of time on the golf course.
Why'd you say that?
That tan.
Ah, yes.
That's the real deal.
That is the real deal. That's not bronzer.
That is not a Mar-a-Lago tan.
Yeah,
That is the real deal. Yes.
Do you have any thoughts about the Democratic primary race before we go on? Like their
South
schedule?
Carolina?
No, their schedule. Yeah, their schedule with South.
Oh, right, making South Carolina first.
South Carolina's first, January 22. Then Nevada on the Tuesday, February 1. Then New Hampshire on February 8. Another week later, New Mexico. Another week later, Michigan. Another week later, Virginia.
I haven't given a huge amount of thought to this.
Okay.
The argument that was always made was that South Carolina should go first because African Americans are such an important part of the primary voting base.
Yeah.
Under the old system, you had two almost completely white states going first. And you did not hear basically from African American voters until the third race. Now, that when Biden made that argument, it was pretty self-serving, right? Because it was South Carolina that saved his ass in 2020. But it is a pretty good point. Yeah.
I think they've nailed it.
Yeah.
Like you got black voters in South Carolina, then you've got
Yes.
Latino voters in Nevada, urban.
Yep.
Then you've got New Hampshire's rural.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got New Mexico is the southern regions. You know, you got both Latinos and you've got Native Americans there.
Yep.
You got Michigan is your Rust Belt.
Yep.
Then you got Virginia is your urban kind of Washington DC
Professional
types.
managerial class.
Yeah, they've got a bit of everything, a bit of every region, a bit of every kind of demographic.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good gauntlet.
Yeah.
I think that they've done well.
All right.
Yeah, I like it. And I also like that they've voted specifically to allow ranked choice.
Yes.
Because I think ranked choice is really good in primaries, not only because ranked choice works better when you've got lots of candidates, but also because in the DNC rules you don't get any delegates unless you've won 15% of the vote.
Mm-hmm.
They can roll over with ranked choice so that you don't waste any votes.
Yes.
So that your third choice gets above 15%, and then they get some delegates.
Absolutely, yes.
Whereas before there were all these wasted votes
Yes.
that just didn't get any delegates.
Yep.
So I think there's all kinds of problems with the primary system, but I think what they've done there is good.
Hopefully that's a Trojan horse for ranked choice more broadly.
Hopefully.
Yes.
Now, Dave, looking at time, there isn't much time left, but do you want to talk about North Korea?
Actually, can we talk about Iran
Yes,
instead?
let's
Because
go.
there have been some pretty significant
sure.
updates, and the North Korea story isn't going anywhere.
Okay.
Okay, so last weekend we had Trump not for the first time threatening Oman.
Yes.
Now, I asked the president about these parallel talks that are taking place between Iran and Oman about control of the Strait of Hormuz. And the president told Fox News if Oman gets in the way, we'll bomb the S out of them.
Not the first time he's threatened Oman. He threatened them back in May as well. So why is he threatening Oman? It's because Oman is engaging in negotiations with Iran over the Strait of Hormuz. Now, it's come out this week that the particular part of the Strait of Hormuz that is controlled by Oman is very important to the US at the moment. The US has actually been, the Navy has been escorting ships through there, which remember was something they kept saying that they were doing when they weren't actually doing it. But they are actually doing it now, these ships with their transponders turned off. And as a result of that, there are reports that say that about 5 million barrels of oil are getting through the Strait of Hormuz every day.
And what was it before? It was like 15 or something? Or?
15 to 20 million per day. Yeah. So obviously, I mean, remember when I said that if the US Navy starts escorting them, it's going to go from a trickle to a very expensive trickle?
Yes.
That's basically what's happening. And this is, we know how thin the Navy is stretched at the moment. So this is consuming a lot of resources to get at most a third of the oil through that was going through before. However, that could be pretty significant in terms of preventing prices from going even higher than they already are. Yeah. Right. So at the moment, the Brent crude is 90-something per barrel. Gasoline in the United States is between $4 and $4.10. It could conceivably be a lot worse if the US Navy wasn't doing that. But Oman is negotiating with Iran, reportedly. Now, why would Oman be doing this? I would suggest it's because they don't see any way that the US is actually getting them out of this situation.
Yeah, they want to finish it.
They want to finish it.
Yes.
All of the Gulf states want to finish it and they have to finish it. Now, even while Trump is just petulantly threatening to bomb Oman, and I'll say it again, it would be weird if one of the long-run effects of the Trump administration was actually to make swearing uncool. Like, if anyone can do it, Trump can. Yes, but the US is actually not threatening Iran militarily at the moment. Over the last week, we've seen a distinct shift where there hasn't been any bombing of Iranian targets for quite a while now. They have backed away. Not only have they backed away from that rhetoric, they're actually saying we're not going to do very much military targeting anymore.
That's right. They're calling it the low-key approach.
They're calling it the low-key approach, and they're talking about applying economic pressure, the likes of which has never been seen before.
Yes.
Now, the obvious problem with this is the economic pressure on Iran has been turned up pretty high, not just this year, but for 20 years. The economic pressures. So where do you even have to go after you've already sanctioned everything, after you've locked Iran out of the international system, and after you've blockaded its oil routes out of the country? Where do you go from there? There you go into the territory of basically wild threats against anyone who does any kind of business with Iran. That's where we are at the moment.
Where does just claiming that the Strait of Hormuz belongs to the United States fit in?
Oh, yeah.
We got that tweet there.
Yeah, put that up, yes. There we go.
New US territory, Strait of Hormuz.
Look, I was going to say that wasn't an official pronouncement, but that's right. They've said that the real Donald J. Trump...
That's on the serious account.
That's
it's on the White House account.
Official stuff. Yes. I'm sure Americans love the idea of forcibly seizing territory, not just in Iran, but also in Oman and the United Arab Emirates, and occupying it within that, within that little circle there.
Interesting.
Yes, Americans will happily welcome the territory of Hormuz.
I mean, look, the economic approach.
Yeah,
it's not like it didn't work the last time. That's how Obama got his nuclear deal the first time.
That is true.
You just need to be at it for years.
Yes,
and they're not prepared to do that.
And we're dealing with a pretty different administration
Yeah.
now in Iran. We're dealing with a very, very defiant regime that is probably at a point of maximal control over its own people at the moment. Now, I might be wrong about that, as I have said just about every week of this conflict, because you can't see what's going on inside the authoritarian regime. You can't know how many people are actually in favor, how many are against. The regime itself doesn't know. This is why when collapses happen, they happen often very quickly and suddenly and unpredictably. And if I was trying to get inside the mind of the Trump administration, I think there's probably just this desperate hope that this could all collapse very quickly and unexpectedly, and then we will look like geniuses because these quick, unexpected collapses have happened in other places. One US official said this week that there's all kinds of civil unrest going on in Iran that the media are not reporting on for some reason. Now, I'm a little bit dubious about that because generally any hint of dissent in Iran, the media reports on it wherever it can. I'm guessing there are still like pro-Shah people feeding this stuff into the Trump administration. Yeah. To say, no, it's all just about to collapse. We just need another little push. But certainly they think that the economic pressure will work. Of course, Trump's been saying for months now, we've beaten them completely thoroughly. We've strangled their economy. They're begging for a deal, blah, 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 blah. He's still saying all that stuff. There's no reason to, believe it's suddenly going to come true. But, of course, this is the famous black swan problem, right? Just because you've seen a lot of white swans, it doesn't mean you won't see a black swan in the future. However, the black swan problem is about the logical problem of induction. It's not a statement about how likely you are to see the black swan. And I would say the black swan is probably still swimming around on its lake somewhere in Western Australia at the moment and is nowhere near the Strait of Hormuz.
Probably. Although, to be clear, the Iranian economy is terrible.
Oh, it is absolutely terrible.
Like they've got 2/3 unemployment at the moment.
Yes, 88% year-on-year inflation.
Yeah. It's not good.
It's bad, but the regime is presenting this as a matter of national survival. Certainly, I think that the war has had the effect of suppressing dissent in Iran because, who wants to be on the side of the people that are bombing you? The military control and the information control is no sign that is loosening. And this might be one of the most crucial things. The war itself might have any potential split that was going to be in the elites, the war might have literally killed one side of that split. Yeah. So I don't think it's very likely, but if it happens, these things do happen very unexpectedly.
I only have one question, and that is, given what you've just said,
yes,
where do you think this theory fits into the picture?
The golden age is right on the horizon. Iran was never supposed to be a forever war. It was a precise and lethal operation. We never sent boots on the ground and only flirted with taking Karg Island. We never did. Didn't need to. Trump took a shot, got the deal, and got out. Now we can book our next excursion. Cuba. Greenland, maybe. Or our 51st state, Canada.
So where's that fit in?
Not even Trump's saying he's got a deal.
That's from July. That's
okay,
That's
right.
not from now. Even Waters isn't that diluted. But I just love that clip. I'm just going to keep on ripping that clip out every month.
That is a great clip. We should keep watching it.
Yeah. Keep coming back. Okay, Dave. I assume you're out of time. Otherwise,
I am out of time, I'm afraid, Peppers.
That's okay.
So
That's okay.
I will see. It might actually be in 3 weeks rather than 2 weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
You could be away for 2 weeks. We'll find out. Pep will be back in 2 weeks' time.
Yes.
Well, we're going to be back we're going to record on Tuesday. Whether you see it on Tuesday or Wednesday, I don't know yet.
Yep.
But and then we'll be back 10 days after that with probably Melina again. Melina's probably going to do a double. And then either you'll be there the Friday after or someone else will be.
Okay.
But it will be happening.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Dave.
My pleasure.
Until I next see you,
Stay peppy.
stay peppy.
Yes.
See you guys after the White Flash. Welcome to the other side of the White Flash. This is Chaz Unleashed.
With Lockie the Harper. Sorry, Lockie the Lackey. I'm sorry, Chaz. I've got to apologise. All of the clips that we're about to play for the next 45 minutes, I've actually only got digitally. I know you usually like them printed out.
Yes, sad.
But I can't do it today.
Don't even pretend that you're anything like Natalie, Harp, Lockie. You never look at me like she looks at Trump.
No, the texts that I send you, way worse. They're not getting past the supervisor. What are we doing for the next brief period of time?
We are going to be talking Comey and shell companies and correspondence. A bit of DOJ leftover stuff I'd like to deal with now. For a start, I want to start off with, when we're talking about the DOJ, I want to start off with a classic not normal, but sadly becoming normal. And what it is, well, look, for those listening, I'm about to play Kash Patel. Have a listen / watch.
President Trump's mission to make America safe again. As he campaigned, he is delivering on that promise. And it is such an honor to be here in Nassau County, back in my home, when he's about to walk on stage and give you the latest update on the statistics. And they are not just statistics. I've spent 10 years working for President Trump. He reads about each and every case that we work on. He feels the pain of those that have lost loved ones. He does not let it lay aside. He takes it home with him.
Okay, now that's not a hilarious clip. It's possible you have no idea why I clipped that, because
Is it because of the last bit where he takes everything home?
No, that's not it. That's not it.
Okay.
The reason I've clipped that is something has become so commonplace that we just think it's normal, but it's not.
Okay.
Why is the FBI chief speaking at a political rally?
Oh, whoa.
Can you imagine Jim Comey or Christopher Wray or Robert Mueller introducing Barack Obama at a political rally?
Yeah, of course. You're right. I didn't even bat an eye.
They're meant to be independent. They're meant to be nonpartisan.
Sure.
They're the FBI chief. They're the head of the police. They're not meant to be introducing the president at a political rally. We've just come to accept it. Todd Blanche does it as well. The Attorney General is not meant to introduce people at political rallies.
Okay, but it's fine for Todd Blanche because he's Trump's personal lawyer.
That's
right. The guy can introduce his client. That's fine.
That is sad, but it's sad but true. But also, I want to go back once again over something that we've just come to take for granted. But it's not normal. What did he say? He said Trump reads about each and every case that we work on.
He cares.
That's wonderful. Now, obviously, we know he's not reading anything, but let's leave that aside. Let's leave it. Natalie Harp's printing it out. But leave that aside. He reads about each and every FBI case. Two sub things. One, doesn't he have something else to do, like his job? The president's meant to be kind of busy. Trump seems to have endless time to worry about things that are not his job, while completely ignoring what the president is actually meant to do. And can I emphasize the second subpart, is that he's not meant to have anything to do with FBI cases. He reads each and every one of them. Those cases are meant to be independent of the president. Kash Patel is boasting about how much Trump interferes with every single case, like it's a good thing, when it's actually a bad thing. And it's not a normal thing at all. What the hell has happened to this country? That's not normal, Lucky. Not normal.
We should use this, Steve.
Yes. Anyway. And, of course, he's not reading anything. It's all bullshit. But that's always my point. Just let's not get used to that shit, because that should not be something we get used to. Now let's talk about James Comey. This is another thing which, I'm going to tell you about all the case against James Comey, and I'm going to go in detail because we are accepting things that we shouldn't be accepting. It's in court right now. It's not a proper trial at the moment. It's a pre-trial motion. Comey's trying to get the charges dismissed. He says it's a vindictive prosecution, right? So he's trying to get thrown out of court before they even have the trial. If they have a trial, it'll be October. But we're learning a lot more about this investigation through the pre-trial hearings. We're seeing some of the evidence they've got. Remember, Todd Blanche said, we've been studying it for 11 months.
Evidence?
So, yeah, all the evidence we gathered over 11 months, this detailed investigation. Okay, well, now we know what this evidence is. And some of what I have to share with you is incredible. Not in a good way. Lawfare has a great piece about this. I'm going to put it in the homework. You'll find it right there. That's in the blurb. I'm going to be quoting liberally from that article, but there's more detail there as well. Now, to remind you, Comey's been charged with making threats against the president. Okay, so they have to prove that any reasonable, objective observer would consider Comey's Instagram post with seashells spelling out 8647 to constitute a knowing and willful threat on the life of Trump, an intentional threat from Comey. He meant that seashells pic should be interpreted as a threat. That's what they're charging him with, right?
Yes.
So to make that case, they have to prove firstly that Comey knows that 86 means to kill someone, and that he also thinks so many people know that if he posts a pic saying 8647, they will understand that means that he is going to kill the president, or at least he wants the president to think that he's threatening to kill the president. Okay? That's what they need to show. Now, the way they tried to show that was by gathering evidence that Comey came across that phrase as a prosecutor of mob cases. Because he prosecuted quite a few mob cases over the last few decades, like, for instance, the United States versus Gambino in 1993. Comey was the lead prosecutor in that one. Big mob case.
Okay.
But first, before we return to that, let's look at the hard evidence that we have. Factual evidence. Comey took a photo on his camera at 1:56 p.m. on the 15th of May, 2025. There's no doubt about that. We've seen the digital signature in the evidence. That was the seashell photo that we see again. We'll show you in a second. Now, Comey's wife has testified that she told Comey that she explained to him that 86 was restaurant slang for being out of something, to dump or get rid of an item. Maybe she's telling the truth, maybe she's not. That's what she's testified. She says she used to be a waitress, so that's how she knew that.
Okay.
And if you look up the term 86 in any dictionary, you find that usage of the term. You don't always find the mob, the inverted commas mob definition, but you do find that definition. Okay. So that all makes sense. But here's where it gets interesting. Comey says that later on, his wife suggested that Comey post the photo on Instagram. He says it was her idea, not his. And at 3:12 p.m., 1 hour and 16 minutes later, Comey's wife texts him with a screen cap from a Google search that says, in US slang, 86 means to get rid of or to refuse service. It's often used in restaurants and bars to indicate that an item is out of stock or to bar a customer from being served. That's what we've seen the text.
Okay.
That's her text to him.
All right. Okay.
And then 2 minutes later, Comey posts the seashells post. Well, have a look at the post. There isn't much to it. It's just the photo and the caption, "Cool shell formation on my beach walk." Now, this is the first amazing detail. Tell me how the facts that we know don't add up to Comey having told the truth this whole time. What I mean by that is, I don't know about you, I assumed until now that when Comey says, I just saw these shells on the beach and found them interesting, that he was being cute.
Yeah.
I assumed he assembled the shells himself.
Yeah. No, I also had.
Yeah, okay. But if he'd arranged those shells himself, not as a threat, of course, but as some kind of joke, then why did it take him 1 hour and 18 minutes to post the photo? If he assembled them to post a photo of them, why didn't he assemble them, take the photo, and then post it?
He's picking the right filter. It's hard work.
That's a lot of filter work.
Do you want the Rio de Janeiro or do you want something somber and black and white?
And more importantly, why did he only post the photo 2 minutes after his wife sent him a definition of what the shells meant? If he put those shells together himself, wouldn't he have known what they meant when he put them together?
Uh-huh.
Why would he put them together, take the photo, and an hour 16 later, his wife sends him the definition, and only then does he post it?
Sure, yeah.
What that's telling me is I think Comey's telling the truth. I think his wife did suggest later on that he post it.
Yeah.
And I think he asked her, what does that even mean? And then she sent him the text of the screen cap of the Google definition to say, this is what it means. And he was like, okay, sure. You know, like it's obviously a political thing, get rid of Trump. Okay, fine, I'll post it.
Uh-huh.
I think he's telling the truth. I never thought that for a second.
I always thought that, yeah, he'd done it as a little ha-ha.
Yeah.
That's big.
Yeah.
Is there more? I assume there's way more about...
I've barely started, but
Yeah.
but I mean, that's the first revelation. I think Comey, those text times, the actual evidence we've seen, actually line up with his story better than anything else.
It is a little disappointing that he wasn't being sarcastic and quippy.
Yes, a little bit.
Which is out of form with what you're supposed to caption things on Instagram.
He's just not following the rules. Also, I should say, something we didn't know until now, those shells, they were 4 miles away from his house. If he thought to himself, oh yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this shell thing and it'll be so cool and I'll take a photo, and why would he walk 4 miles to do it?
Because you know it's a crime. You don't want to do it near your house.
You don't want to incriminate yourself with the photo that you're posting on your account. Yes. So, like, I mean, it just makes sense again. If these are 4 miles away, it makes sense they were on a walk. They saw it.
Long walk.
Maybe for you. His wife Comey goes, oh, that's interesting. His wife goes, oh, look at that. They take a photo. They talk about it. His wife goes, oh, you should post it. This is all consistent with Comey's story. And also, why was it that his wife sent him the definition? Why did his wife look it up? This is consistent again with he found them odd. His wife told them what she thinks they meant and suggested he posted it. He goes, are you sure? She sends him the text. He posts it. That's all consistent with their story, right? And now Trump's trying to get him jailed for it. Let's also remember what knowing and willful threat means. It means he intended it to be interpreted as a threat. Remember the caption? Cool shell formation on my beach walk. Does that sound like it's intended to be taken as a threat? It's a pretty lackadaisical threat.
If you're reading it sarcastically, which is how I read it and how you read it, then you could.
Let's keep going. Comey's wife then receives a text at 5:52 p.m., 2.5 hours later. It's from an acquaintance that the Comeys had not heard from in 2 to 3 years. In part, it reads, you guys have gone off the deep end over the years with your TDS, Trump Derangement Syndrome. 8647 is a call for violence no matter how you spin it. I hope you and Jim go to jail for his crimes. Mrs. Comey sends back a reply with an Amazon ad for 8647 anti-Trump funny T-shirt, adding, so sorry you're misunderstanding it. Some people think Trump's a bad president. There's no call for violence here. That's what she wrote when, according to the Department of Justice, Comey was intentionally hoping to be interpreted as not only calling for violence, but threatening to deliver that violence himself.
Yeah, it's intentionally.
Yes.
I always forget that.
And yet, the first time someone says it's a call for violence, she goes, no, it's like this funny T-shirt. This has got nothing to do with violence. A few minutes later, she texts the same person again and writes, now that you said what you said, and I Googled and saw the right-wing narrative about the numbers, Jim will take down the post. A few minutes later, that's enough time for her to Google and see that. That's consistent with them saying we had no idea people would interpret that way. We looked it up. We're taking it down. At 6:25 p.m., about 20 minutes later, Comey takes down the post and replaces it with this. I posted earlier a picture of some shells today on a beach walk, which I assume were a political message. I didn't realise some folks associate those numbers with violence. It never occurred to me, but I oppose violence of any kind, so I took the post down. Once again, that conduct is very consistent with if Comey and his wife are telling the truth, but not at all consistent with what they do if they're deliberately trying to threaten the president. They wouldn't do that. That night, after all this, a Secret Service agent rings Comey. They don't ring him first, and then Comey takes the post down to cover his ass. He takes the post down immediately as soon as he sees anyone has interpreted it as a threat, which is not what you do if you're intending to make a threat. Before there are any consequences, he takes it down. But after that, Secret Service agents rings him. Comey says he didn't realise the 86 meant anything violent. He didn't mean anything threatening. They arrange for a proper interview the next day. And Trump goes on TV and says this.
He knew exactly what that meant. A child knows what that meant. If you're the FBI director and you don't know what that meant assassination. And it says it loud and clear. Now, he wasn't very competent, but he was competent enough to know what that meant. And he did it for a reason.
That's the night it happened. At 10:33 a.m. the next morning, the Secret Service announced an internal change in policy. Is a quote. This is from one of their memos. Effective immediately, agents are instructed to treat 8647 as possible coded threat language for kill the 47th president. That's in the Secret Service. That afternoon, they interviewed Comey, and Comey's attorney has testified that one of the senior officials, this is under oath, he said that one of the senior officials present at the interview, quote, personally communicated to me his embarrassment at the amount of attention being paid to the matter. Within 2 hours, the transcript of that interview had been sent to Air Force One. They'd been requested and sent to Air Force One. Yeah. Which is not meant to happen, by the way.
No. Well, I mean, he cares. He loves reading.
Yeah, that's what he does.
Every single case.
He reads every transcript. And by 11 p.m., less than 13 hours after the new policy of treating 8647 as a threat began, the Secret Service ended that policy. Once again, written down, a senior official writes in a memo, as we figured, this is a lot, and we can't nor should be expected to document all of these references to 8647. We should go back to business as usual unless someone is inciting violence along with those numbers or adding egregious and threatening language. Neither of which James Comey did, of course. To put that in context, more than 200,000 products have been offered for sale on Amazon between 2017 and 2025, bearing the phrases 8645, 8646 or 8647. Amazon has received no law enforcement inquiries or complaints about any of those 200,000 products.
I think that the FBI should be looking into something way bigger. I've just looked at the first million digits of pi. 8647 comes up 6 times.
Really?
This is huge.
Those bloody ancient Greeks, they were out to get Trump. Put Pythagoras in jail. Okay, so far, Comey's story is totally checking out. And this is looking like a ridiculous stretch on behalf of the Department of Justice. But maybe they can prove that Comey must have known that 8647 could only be interpreted as kill the president. Okay, so where they start. First of all, Rudy Giuliani. They start with Rudy Giuliani because the person who they were texting with, the person who was angry with them, who said
who hadn't talked to them for a few years,
that person had, when they were interviewed, they mentioned Rudy Giuliani's podcast. They'd heard Rudy Giuliani talking about this on his podcast.
Okay.
And Rudy Giuliani did indeed do a podcast where he said that Comey must have known it was mob speak because of all the mob cases he had prosecuted. Comey, that is. And he would know, Giuliani, because Giuliani himself prosecuted mob cases. That's how he started off. Before he was mayor, he was a U.S. attorney
taken down,
prosecuting the mob. Yeah. Interestingly, though, Giuliani also said this.
I'm going to tell you the truth. If I saw it, I didn't know what it meant until my boys told me. If I saw that, I would have rubbed it off of my feet. I thought it was a license plate number or something, or somebody's PIN number.
Right.
How do you know that had political implications? It only has political implications if you know it means 86, 47, Donald Trump.
So has that been submitted as Comey's defense yet?
That has been submitted.
Yeah,
Comey's
amazing.
defense. That's how I know about it. It's in the lawyer's application.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It's in their motion. Okay, so first of all, when he says Kadar, he's like doing like a gun motion for those listening. Firstly, he's asking what could the possible political implications of 8647 mean other than assassinate him? Get rid of Donald Trump?
Don't serve him when he comes to your restaurant.
Well,
Which would offend him.
That is true. I was thinking more, especially if it's a McDonald's, I was thinking maybe impeach Donald Trump. Don't vote for Donald Trump. Like there's a lot of non-assassination political implications there. Secondly, if you're watching this, that man has scary teeth. He has no need for headlights anymore when he drives at night. Thirdly, Giuliani is a guy who is famously known for taking on the mob as a US attorney. And he says, even though Comey must know because of all the mob connections that he's prosecuted.
Yeah.
He himself,
doesn't.
as someone who has prosecuted mob, hadn't heard of it before. I don't know what's going on in his head. Probably not much. He said never heard the term A6 before in his life until his boys told him about it. Presumably
because his boys had interrogated the mob.
That might be it, or maybe because his boys have Twitter. I'm thinking more Twitter. And they saw the outcry. But let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Because then the FBI, forget Giuliani, he's not much help. The FBI searched their database for any records, including training records or any cases or investigations at any level that involved use of the slang term 86 that would have been associated with former FBI Director James Comey. And the search did not bring up one pertinent reference. Not one. So then they searched through the transcripts of some of the trials that Comey went through before he worked with the FBI, because he's been a prosecutor for a while, right? Like the 1988 trial against the Gambino family, for instance.
Oh, no way.
36 transcripts they went through.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And they found?
0.
But
Yes.
did they go through the transcript from his case 2 years before that? Because I think you would have found the number 86.
That's true.
In the date at the top right hand of every corner.
It didn't involve the mob, but yes, there was a lot of 86.
Found it.
They finally found some evidence. That's good thinking. You should work for that. You've already cracked the case better than they have. I assure you. So 36 transcripts, not a single relevant return. They then searched the transcripts of a Salerno case, which was a similar kind of thing. By the way, that Giuliani had specifically cited on his podcast, saying that he was pretty sure they used the phrase 86, even though he didn't remember it until he was told by his sons.
My son said to me, sir.
As it turns out, he was right the first time about having never heard it before, because Salerno case, 0 mentions of 86. After all that investigating and finding literally 0, you know what they did next? They charged James Comey.
Oh, I thought you were going to say they asked Claude.
That's what they did after they charged James Comey. They charged James Comey, having now proven that it never came up in any of his cases, and there was no evidence he'd ever heard of the term 86. That's when they charged him, after they'd disproven their own case. This was April 28th this year, coincidentally also just after Pam Bondi was sacked.
Okay, yeah, right.
And then they started looking for evidence again after they charged him, because they go, we're going to get something. And the first thing they tried was, once again, you should work for DOJ. You're right in their level. They looked up AI.
Wow, that's not normal.
No, it's not. And AI wasn't much use either.
That's against the whole point. I thought AI was supposed to tell me that I'm right.
Apparently, this was so dodgy that even AI said, no, I'm not going to indulge that. Asked whether 86 has ever been utilised to describe to kill. An AI tool, they didn't say which one, responded, yes, though this is far from its most common usage. It is primarily known as being restaurant slang for being out of an item, or as a bar term for ejecting a rowdy patron.
Wow.
So even AI is telling them off, going, yeah, nah, I'm not that sycophantic. On May 6th, they finally found one of the former agents on the Gambino case. and they asked him. He said he was familiar with the term 86 and he used it and he heard others use it throughout his life.
Oh my goodness.
But he had never understood the term 86 to mean to kill. He did not recall any instance of organised crime, subjects or sources using the term that way. He'd use it in the restaurant context. And then, on May 13th, 2 weeks after Comey has been indicted based on nothing.
Wow.
They dug up a cooperating witness from the Gambino trial, Sammy Gravano. Now, Gravano said 86 generally means to get rid of, and to him, as a gangster, it means to kill.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go.
Okay.
Gravano did not...
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. Gravano did not recall discussing the term 86 with Mr. Comey during the Gambino trial or in meetings in preparation for the trial. He noted that it certainly wouldn't be brought up by me. When asked for names of prosecutors who would be good for the government team to ask, Gravano described a fellow named John Gleeson as a former prosecutor and judge who was brilliant. He added that an opinion coming out of his mouth would be unbelievable, which was interesting, Lockie.
Okay.
Because off his own bat, John Gleeson contacted Comey's team to testify on their behalf. He heard about the indictment. He wasn't even a friend of Comey's.
No way.
He just seen on TV the indictment.
That this was going to happen.
And was so outraged, he wanted to offer his expertise in their defense.
Wow.
He's been prosecuting and judging mob cases for 40 years. Not friends with the Comeys. This is his testimony. Quote, "The claim that 86 is mafia jargon for kill is preposterous. If it weren't made in the context of seeking to deprive a man of his liberty, it would be laughable. I've never come into contact with a single recorded conversation where a mafia member uses 86 in any way, shape or form, let alone to refer to killing or murder. Nor have I come into contact with any such reference to 86 in my thousands of hours of debriefings and conversations with cooperating witnesses in mafia cases. In short, in my expert opinion, there is literally no support for the central allegation on which this case rests."
So he's not quite sure.
So there's a certain degree of uncertainty there. So the only person they can find who would testify to have ever heard of the use of 86 in that capacity has personally recommended that they get this other guy as an expert, and he is the one who is testifying it's absolutely never happened.
That is fantastic.
So that's how the investigation is going for the charges that they have already laid. But there is one other piece of evidence that they've got. Comey's got a book coming out. Well, he had a book coming out in 5 days after the Seychelles post called FDR Drive. And they suggested at DOJ that Comey maybe deliberately threatened Trump to stir controversy to boost sales of his book. I don't want to be Mr. Logical here, but if that's why he did it, that's not a true threat. That's not actually threatening the president.
Because it's the motive.
If he's just trying to stir up a bit of publicity for his book, that's not actually threatening the president.
I mean, killing the president would sell your book.
Well, that's true. That would be great publicity. That's a good point. But look, I could see an argument being made the other way, going, oh, no, he really threatened him to create publicity. Or I'm not going to hang my hat on that. I'm going to hang my hat on the fact there is zero evidence.
Yeah.
But anyway, the book is about a right-wing figure, possibly modelled on Trump, who uses coded online threats to create violence from his followers against his enemies. So they think that's why the Seychelles thing could have been drumming up publicity for
Interesting.
that book. Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting theory. Can they prove it? Because that's what they need to be able to do. Seems like a huge stretch to me. And when that's your only evidence, it's an even bigger stretch. Also, the selective prosecution element is a bit of a problem. Why is this a threat, but right-wing activist Jack Posobiec tweeting 8646 under Biden? That's not a threat because they did nothing about that. Comey posts 8647, that's a threat.
Yeah.
Posobiec posts 8646, just in writing, not in shells.
Well, that could mean anything.
That wasn't a threat. Prosecution said that most of the examples out there where people had said 8646 or 8647 had other context. Like they had conditional language, or they were past tense, or they like that. Like so, they were saying like, "Oh, just imagine 86-46," or "They should have 86-46," or just something where it's not saying directly, "This is what I'm going to do." Whereas Comey, they said, just had 86-47 and nothing else, kind of like a command. The quote from the prosecution is, "It communicated a present tense intention to kill President Trump." If you ignore the bit about cool shell formation on my beach walk. But Posobiec did exactly the same thing, just 86-46, and he never took down the post. And I'll tell you something else. Unlike Comey, Posobiec had an actual history of inspiring violence with his tweets. Posobiec famously is the guy behind the Pizzagate conspiracy, which led to a dude shooting up a pizzeria. So Posobiec actually had a history where him tweeting shit led to people shooting other people. Whoa. And he, soon after that, a couple of years after that, tweets out 86-46 during Joe Biden. And they're saying that's not a threat. But James Comey, who has no history of doing anything like that at all, tweets at 86-47, they say, well, that is a threat. Now I've told you their total evidence. I've gone straight through all the submissions. This is all they've got. Every bit of evidence over 11 months, this is everything. Every theory, everything. So now you've heard all that. Let me read you the extra context that the prosecution says justifies these charges.
All right.
Such context includes, but is not limited to, the heightened threat environment, the backdrop of Comey's eerily on-the-nose novel, the different common usages of the phrase 86-47, the phrase's use as a term of art in the context of organised crime, Comey's professional experience with such crime, the reactions of persons who viewed the post, the reactions of law enforcement officers, including the FBI and Secret Service, and Comey's apparent financial incentive to stir up controversy. Now, pretty much all those claims I just read you are either made up or completely unevidenced. That could be, in my view, the worst prosecution I've ever heard of. The thinnest, most poorly evidenced prosecution ever. I'm sure there's somewhere in history there's a worse one, but I don't know what it is. And in my view, it's right up there as with the absolute most corrupt acts undertaken by the Trump administration. And that obviously is Trump. Not only, in my view, should Trump be impeached for this, but I think he should be actually charged and jailed for deprivation of constitutional rights. He is depriving James Comey of his constitutional rights with this bullshit charge that he knows is based on nothing. People do go to jail for that kind of stuff. And I know the Supreme Court wouldn't let it happen because of the immunity ruling. But I'm just saying, if things weren't screwed up in America at the moment, he would. This is appalling. And yet, I mean, I'm treating it like a joke. We're all treating it like a joke. We've gotten used to this stuff. We just go, oh, well, that's just the Trump administration. It's all fun and games. It's not fun and games for the person who's spending 2 years in court and potentially going to jail. We shouldn't accept this. We shouldn't say this is normal. It's not normal. It's not. And if this had happened any time before Trump, this would have been the world's biggest scandal ever. And yet now this is a Friday. I just...
This is saved for an Unleashed on people.
Yeah. I can't get past it. I really can't. So anyway, this is my Jim Comey rant. I know I like to rant during Unleashed. I guess it is Unleashed. But just for once, the rant isn't incredibly depressing. It's just irritating.
Oh, no. They're always depressing. Don't sell yourself short there.
Thank you, Lucky. Do you have anything to add?
I will actually. So it does look like he found the shells.
Yeah.
Someone else has done that.
I genuinely think he found the shells. If he did it himself, why would his wife send him the definition?
Right. So someone else put those shells there.
I think they did.
And we don't know who that other person is.
Don't.
So that person out there
is trying to kill the
president. No wonder. They're trying to get to the bottom to find the other person.
This is like The Fugitive. Like, where is the one-armed man who assembled the shells? The real killer. It's OJ all over again, except there actually is a real killer out there. Find the real killer. Yeah, it's incredible. I can't believe that I've been convinced that James Comey was telling the truth about the shells. But I have. I see no other explanation.
I mean, his book's going to sell.
Well, it came out
last
year.
Oh, really?
So I'm not sure it is. I just realised the next section was shell companies. That's perfect. But you know what?
Nice.
I think I'm going to save that because I was looking at the time. We've got about 10 minutes. I'm just going to do some correspondences. I promised, and I haven't done any so far. I'm going to do a few more with Melina's pod, but I just want to get them out of the way before I take my break.
Sure.
So I'll just do a couple. If we've got any time left, no, there won't be time left.
Why would you say that?
I know. Bill Wyman correspondence. Bryn asks, in Dave's grateful about Bill Wyman's list, is he referring to a new book that has compiled the list? If so, quit the title of the book or link so that I can find where to purchase it. I found an Amazon link for the Kindle version that they haven't been able to find a hard copy if it's printed. Look, we're bad at promoting stuff. That's what happens when you work at the ABC. You don't get much practice. So I'm sorry about that. Bill's book is called Bill Wyman's Rock and Roll Lists. Okay, Bill Wyman's Rock and Roll List. I don't know if it has a hard copy. It's like 900 pages long, so probably not. You might have to go Kindle, but I don't know that for a fact.
Or get Natalie Harp to print one for you.
Man, I don't think she has that much paper. She's got to save some of that paper for Trump dressed up as Genghis Khan or something.
You're good.
We probably can't put a link in the blurb. That's probably not a very ABC thing to do, but I'm sure you can buy it in all the usual places. Bill Wyman's Rock and Roll Lists. So much toe sock correspondence, Lockie.
Oh, boy.
So much about your toe socks last week.
I didn't help with that, did I?
Yes.
Sorry.
That's all right. Look, I'm not going to go through it forever because I don't think anyone who gave toe sock correspondence was expecting for it to be read out. But my favourite was from Dressy.
Nice.
The future irony of Chaz doing "This is not normal" segments while wearing those socks.
Well done. Very well done.
I thought that was good. And there was a smiley face emoji, which is amazing. That's the one emoji you don't expect to see when someone's describing my toe socks. But that's what I got. Labour supply correspondence. Now, in my economics section last week, I had a little stroke and I said something totally wrong. You could see me pause and go, but actually, I mean, and what I was saying just didn't make any sense at all. Sometimes when I extemporize on economics, the results are not good. I end up in a weird place. I like turtles sorted me out. Quote, saying wages aren't rising because there isn't enough supply of labour makes no sense. Wages will rise if demand rises, like you said, but also if supply falls. Either way, all else being equal, wages rise as there's more employers bidding up wages for fewer employees. Don't say less employees. They don't like it when you do that. I like turtles. For fewer employees. Of course, I like turtles is correct. When there's less supply of labour because of immigration raids, you expect wages to go up, not down. Which means if wages are going down, well, which they are, not that they're going down, but they're not going up as fast as inflation, there must be something reducing demand at an even higher rate or greater rate.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know which one the people will prefer. One reason could be the war. Another reason could be tariffs. Another reason could be maybe deportations, reducing demand. Some other reason entirely. I'm not going to speculate. I'm just saying there has to be something.
Yeah.
And you're right. I like turtles about that. You're also right to like turtles. Turtles are great. You're doubly right.
Yeah.
Did you know that tortoises are a kind of turtle?
I didn't not know that.
They're not different animals.
No.
A tortoise is like a subpart of the turtles classification.
That's cool. That is cool.
Turtles, they're more versatile than tortoises. They rock. Anyway, I already told you guys about the catering correspondence from VHSBD.
Mm-hmm.
Chaz, I feel the need to clarify a catering cart is the little trolley they push down the aisle. A catering truck is the truck the caterers use to service the plane. I don't think Trump was in a catering cart. Yes, Thank you for destroying my fun, VHS BD. I'm not going to ask you about Santa Claus. I'm not going to ask you if reality TV is real. I'm not going to ask you about anything else ever again, but I acknowledge your correction. Yes. Assassination correspondence, my favourite kind of correspondence. Look, I don't know about this. We've had a few people getting snarky with Dr. Dave. Dr. Dave doubted Iran's ability to blow Air Force One out of the sky last week.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Zay33 says, Dave, this is such a lack of insight into how military operations work. There are Iranian agents all over the world, especially in Europe. Smuggling a few Stinger-style man-pads into Europe would not be hard. They're 15 kilos of low-profile fire and forget. They can hit targets up to 3.8 kilometres in the air. They have a range of 8 kilometres. It's not exactly high technology either. If you station 5 or 6 guys on rooftops in different locations around the airport and launch all around the same time, you could absolutely penetrate Air Force One's countermeasures. I don't really know what you're thinking. You think they target flying aircraft with cruise missiles from Iran or something? Fair enough. They actually had me wondering, though, because what Zay is saying sounds correct to me.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, Zay makes it all seem very easy and makes me wonder why they don't assassinate the president all the time if it's that easy. I'm not suggesting they do, the Secret Service, but I'm just saying, like, if it's that easy and Iran want to kill him, then why don't they kill him?
Why hasn't he died?
Yeah, yes. Yeah. Why haven't they even tried?
Yeah.
Especially in America, where there are also, sleeper cells and all the rest of it, and Trump flies around a lot in America. Kevin makes a few points, though. Kevin writes, the plot was that Iran would use a man-pad, a shoulder-to-air missile, presumably the good Chinese one that shot something down during the war. This could be done on takeoff or landing where the aircraft defences would not work, which is essentially what Zay33 was saying.
Mm-hmm.
The reason to doubt the veracity would be due to Israel having their own agenda. And there were also issues on Iran being able to put on such a mission in the time frame after the trip was public information. What he's referring to there, the tip was apparently from Israeli intelligence, and Israeli intelligence have every incentive to make Trump fear Iran. They want Trump to turn the heat up on Iran. They don't want Trump to just let Iran go and let Iran do whatever they like. So there was a feeling from American intelligence that it was in Israel's interest to scare Trump with this inverted commas rumor or theory.
Yes. So
they had some doubts. Anyway, the time frame point is an interesting point as well. that they didn't have forever to set this up. So interesting thoughts there. But anyway, I just want to put that out there. While we're talking about the decoy plane, Susan writes, there's a rumour that Caroline Levitt quit because she was so shocked and insulted to be left on the plane, to be possibly missiled out of the sky. But she wasn't on the plane, was she? That rumour was pushed by, amongst other people, the Iranian embassy in South Africa. They posted, betrayal is awful. When your boss betrays you and sends you in danger while he escapes in a food truck, you lose all hope for camaraderie. Of course, you can't expect much more from a murderer. You did a good job resigning, Caroline Levitt, with like a picture of Caroline Levitt. Now, two things. The decoy plane was on July 8. Caroline Levitt didn't return from maternity leave until July 16.
Okay.
She was not on either plane.
Sure.
Secondly, Trump hassled. We have a pretty good idea about why she resigned. It wasn't because of that. It's because Trump hassled her to come back early from her maternity leave.
To get on the plane?
I don't think that's the reason why. I don't think he was necessarily a huge respecter of maternity leave. And he was at her to, come on, what's going on? What's going on? Come back. She ended up coming back early. And unsurprisingly, she found it difficult to be a communications secretary while she had two super little kids. People have trouble holding that job down at the best of times, let alone when you have two young kids.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty obvious why she resigned.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be pretty hard to have two young kids work in a front-facing communications job and have a boss who keeps trying to get you to come out of maternity leave. When's Melina on?
I was waiting for this. Melina has had a very luxurious maternity leave. I assure you I have not been hassling her. She's been back for quite a while, so she's okay. I was wondering where that was going. It was good timing.
I thought you could see me doing that 10 miles off.
No, I thought it was going to be some Trump reference of some kind, which I couldn't pick. And we got some Mitch correspondence from Digosaurus.
Who's Mitch?
Mitch McConnell.
Ah, okay. Right.
How did Chaz just hand wave Mitch McConnell's 50-day weekend at Bernie's escapade that's been going on? Where is the turtle? First of all, don't you go slagging off turtles. Very versatile reptiles. I've got a friend who have a word to you about that. But secondly, I know this is going to be strange to people. I don't actually care what happens to Mitch McConnell. I don't care what he does. He can stay away. I mean, he's going soon anyway. He's only here for another couple of months. 3/4 of the Senate are basically wax statues. Right? There isn't that much difference whether they're in the Senate or they're at home. They're both just standing there motionless. I know he's been away for 50 days. That happens more than you think, especially in the Senate. A lot of these people are sick. They're old and sick. Thomas Keane in the House isn't even old. He's in his 50s. He disappeared without trace for 142 days earlier this year. And all they said was he had a personal medical issue, and that's it. And he was away for 142 days. And unlike Mitch McConnell, he's supposed to be running for re-election. It was coming up to the primary that he was competing in, and he'd been away for nearly 5 months with no word whatsoever. He eventually returned a few weeks ago. It turns out he was being treated for depression. He didn't want to tell people about it. I think he was much more of an issue than Mitch McConnell because he wasn't cruising towards retirement. But honestly, I can give you countless examples. Like Dianne Feinstein. Do you think she gave us much more than Mitch McConnell for years before she retired? She wasn't in the same, her brain was not in the same place as the building she was in. Let me put it that way. She was not giving much. And Mitch being away, there are no political ramifications. If he leaves, there'll be a special election and they'll just elect a Republican to replace him. Fine. If they don't hold a special election for whatever reason or until there's a special election, you know what happens? It's an empty seat. Which is what there is at the moment. It's no difference whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I just can't get excited. I mean, he's Mitch McConnell. He's never exciting for any reason whatsoever. But anyway, so look, we've hit the wall. We've hit the maximum. People will be wondering what the maximum is because it keeps on getting longer.
No, not the way I cut it down.
Yes.
In fact, I think I know how long the maximum is. I think Trump's got some words to say about it.
Not nearly long enough.
Very good. I can't believe you saved that.
I did. I knew it'd come back.
He's sneaky. He just keeps his shit up his sleeve. Thank you so much. You got anything to add before you get out of here?
Absolutely nothing. Thank you, Chaz.
Thank you, Lockie. Like I said, we'll be recording Melina's next pod on Tuesday. It'll either come out on Tuesday or Wednesday, and then you will see me and I think Melina 10 days after that. So not next Friday after that, 2 weeks from now. Until next Tuesday/Wednesday, stay peppy.